Grand Ledge comes to Holt tonight looking for the win that'll keep them in Comet Country for the playoffs next week. But the Rams need another victory to get a ticket to the postseason. Two football teams fighting for more than just second place in the league. Capital Area Football is coming up next.
Welcome to Capital Area Football on Media One Sports. Tonight, we're back at Holt High School to see if the Rams can work their way back into the playoffs or if the Comets of Grand Ledge can establish home field advantage for next week. Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm Ben Stark for Media One Sports. Pleased to have you with us tonight, and we believe we've got the best game in the area again tonight. This game is not for first place in the Capital Area Conference. That issue is being settled over at Everett High School, where the Trojans of East Lansing are likely going to pick up yet another league crown. But these two teams are just a hair behind East Lansing this year. Holt losing by a touchdown, Grand Ledge losing by a point, and Grand Ledge losing by a point at East Lansing. So perhaps if that game was replayed tonight, Grand Ledge could beat the Trojans. It's an important game for both teams with postseason playoff implications. And when you think about Grand Ledge, they need to get that home field advantage for the playoffs, and Holt wants to get to the playoffs. Here are the league standings as we head into tonight. You can see East Lansing in first place, and they are playing Everett this evening, so a scheduled break for the Trojans at the end of the year. But Grand Ledge and Holt perhaps just as good as East Lansing on any given night, even though they both lost to the Trojans, and tonight both teams need to win. Time to introduce my partner tonight up here in the press box, Earl the Pearl Robinson from News Talk 870 Sports. And Earl, glad to have you with us here tonight.
And Ben, glad to be here. We have another outstanding game.
Now, Grand Ledge may be the biggest team in the league, but Holt almost as big. Grand Ledge perhaps a little younger, Holt perhaps a little older. Who knows what's going to happen in this ball game?
That's true. We have a game that matches power against power. Last week, speed and power, but two power teams should be an excellent game.
The weather conditions are very good once again. Our 9th week in a row on Capital Area Football. There has been some rain this week, but none the past 12 hours. Field conditions are very, very good, and it is not raining right now. On the sidelines tonight, a couple of very good area coaches. Pat O'Keefe, the visiting coach at Grand Ledge, and he's been great in his 6 years.
Yes, he has. He's put together an outstanding program. This team is really an excellent team, run a great offense and defense, so it should be another good game for Pat O'Keefe and Grand Ledge.
Mike Smith, an exciting young coach here at Holt, and he had a great year in 1995. He's a former MSU Spartan.
That's right, and their team bounced back, having a great year, and as Mike Smith told us, this is their playoff game, a must-win for Holt tonight.
Well, both teams have had great years, although the season is so short in high school football that a loss here or there really hurts. In the case of Grand Ledge, it was that loss to East Lansing by 1 point in East Lansing, and that was a game that probably some of the people in Grand Ledge think is somewhat of a fluke.
They might have, but hey, you can only play them once. You don't get a chance to go back. But that was a great game between those two teams, and yes, those teams are very, very even.
And you can see how the Comets have bounced back since that night, scoring 35, 48, 35, and 28. And they will be ready to rock and roll tonight behind that big offensive line averaging 260 pounds per young man. For Holt, an opening season loss or opening game loss in the season against a very, very good Comets team, then 5 wins in a row, and then, of course, they ran into East Lansing as well.
That's right. East Lansing proving their mettle, beating both teams, but yet and still, Holt, a very good team, and has had an excellent season.
The Comets are coming into Ram Country, and both teams want to win this ball game. It's Grand Ledge visiting Holt coming up next on Capital Area Football.
If last year was the season to remember, then this year is the season to look forward to. With returning Toby finalist Mike York, defensive dynamo Mike Weaver, and sophomore sensations Rustin Dolany and Joey Blackburn, the Spartans will be the team to beat as they defend their CCHA title. Don't miss a minute of the action. Spartan Hockey on Media One Sports. The puck stops here.
Technology. It's made the other side of the world seem closer than the other side of town. But you don't live on the other side of the world. You live here. And that's why Media One's been connecting houses to our interactive broadband network Here. And here. And here. Because you want to be a part of that PTA meeting without leaving the kids. You want to find out how your local team is doing. Whoa! You want to know what traffic's like. Or maybe you just want to avoid traffic altogether by getting just as much done from home. At Media One, we believe our interactive broadband network is the way that you'll do it. Nice shoes. Media One. This is broadband. This is the way.
We promote and protect the privilege of participation in extracurricular athletics.
We promote lifetime values like hard work, teamwork, sportsmanship, and citizenship.
We help reach and motivate students.
We develop policies as a group and enforce them as a responsibility of membership.
We are coaches, game officials, and administrators voluntarily working for the common good of kids.
We are your school.
We are the MHSAA.
Today's coverage of Capital Area Football is brought to you by Frankie D's Auto and Truck Repair, serving Holt for 15 years. Delhi Rental Center in the Holt Plaza. Hungry Howie's in Holt and Grand Ledge. Golden Apple, downtown Grand Ledge. Books and gifts for everyone. And the Car Shop, your local Napa Auto Care Center.
Week number 9 of the high school football season, and we are at Troost Field at Holt High School, getting ready for Grand Ledge against Holt. Media One Sports production here of high school football, and let's head down to the sidelines now with Jolynn Thomas. She's got one of the Holt boosters.
I'm with Tanya Olson from the Granger Container Company, and right now they're doing a promotion for Holt High School through the Booster Club. Tanya, tell us about the promotion.
Well, what we're doing for Holt fans and supporters is when they sign up for Captain Kirby residential service at their curbside, we will be giving back to the boosters the dollar amount of their first month of service. And then in addition to that, we will also be giving them a lump sum for the total number of customers that sign up in the Holt area.
All right, well, thank you very much. Now back up to the press box and the Media One sports commentators.
Thank you, Jolynn. A couple of minutes before this game is going to get underway. Neither team is in sight right now, and you've got to imagine that the coaches are really getting the motivational talk up in gear here, as this game means so much to both teams. Ben Stark along with Earl Robinson. And Earl, you really can't overstate how important this game is.
No, very important for Holt, important for Grand Ledge in the standpoint they want home field advantage in the first round this week, but Holt needs this win to make the playoffs.
Okay, and here come the Grand Ledge Comets, and a pretty big crowd on the other side of the field, Earl, one of the biggest visiting crowds we've seen all year.
That's right, the Grand Ledge fans piling in for this game. This is a great rivalry between these two schools. Will be a very, very hard-hitting game.
Well, the players are getting fired up, and we talked to both coaches before the game, and let's find out what they said, starting with Grand Ledge coach Pat O'Keefe.
Well, I think the key players for us defensively, our middle linebacker, Jake Huntoon, is, of course, the leader of our defense, along with John McLeod and Eric Esper. And I think that Bill Barnes and Stump McLean will have their work cut out for them at the defensive end positions, and also Nate Williams and Justin Mullins. What do we expect from Holt? We expect a hard-fought game. Both our schools have big offensive lines, and so there's going to be a lot of decisions made along the line that will be keys to the game. And I expect Holt to give us a great game. We've always had a great tradition and a great rivalry, and so we expect nothing different than that on Friday night. Our emphasis in practice this week is just getting out there and making sure that the guys enjoy this part of the season. Everything's on the line, and playoffs and everything else are important. So we're looking forward to this week, and we're working hard to prepare ourselves for the Holt Rams.
Our key players for this week against Grand Ledge will be our quarterback, Ryan Anderson, and then, of course, our offensive line. We've been very fortunate this year to have our offensive line come up big for us. In addition to that, will be our defensive line and our linebackers. In order to play well against Grand Ledge, you got to stop their run. And so we're going to have to come up real big. You know, practice emphasis this week is going to be on, stopping Grand Ledge's 4 best plays, offensively, and then attacking Grand Ledge, at the spots where we think that we can be successful at.
In comments from Mike Smith, the former Michigan State Spartan in the early 1970s. And we'll hear more from Coach Smith talking about last week's game in a few minutes. But now we're going to go back down to the sidelines along Troost Field with Cholin Thomas.
Good. I'm with Craig and Melinda Allen, and their son Keith was injured in last week's game. Tell us about that.
Well, it was just a hard enough hit that they felt this week that in order to keep him healthy for hopefully next week that they'd set him this week.
How's he doing?
He's a little disappointed, as I think we all are, but he's a level-headed young man. We're real proud of him, and he'll adjust to this, and he'll get over it.
What about his future? Any plans there?
He's had some small schools talk to him, but he's a baseball player, and he's looking forward to springtime and maybe a chance to look along those lines as well.
All right, well, we're glad to hear that he's doing fine. Thank you very much. And that was Craig and Melinda Allen. Now back up to the press box.
Thank you, Jolynn. And Earl Keith Allen, number 3, the running back, senior running back for the Holt Rams, who has meant so much to the ball club all year long and playing a fullback position, but really running like a tailback. And injured last week in the first half. We never really saw the hit that knocked him out, but he did go to the hospital with a concussion.
Yes, had a concussion, and I guess in 3 parts it said how they rate concussion. This was considered a 2, almost a 3, so there was no question from Coach Smith that he could not play this week. You always have to look out for the player's safety first. That's always paramount. That's the most important thing. And, we just wish that he gets a full recovery and is able to play. Maybe he'll be able to play in the playoff game if possible.
And there he is. You can see him, number 3, wearing his jersey, but otherwise not in uniform. Keith Allen. He's a little guy, really 5'10", but 210 pounds, and he runs like a big man. And we hear more and more about concussions in athletics as this decade goes onward, and so it's precautionary. He really could play, except if he were to get hit the wrong way, it could be a big problem.
Exactly. So you just always on the side of caution in situations like these. Let the young man fully recover. We've seen them at the college and at the professional level, but at the high school level, you really do have to take all precautionary measures.
And I think you're right, Earl, even though the coaches did not indicate this exactly, but it's pretty much week to week with this type of thing, and possibly if Holt were to win tonight and get into the playoffs, perhaps Keith Allen could be in uniform next week. We're seeing the Holt Rams starting lineups being introduced, and there they are. They're ready to go. It's senior night here, of course, as it is the final game, for the whole season here. So you can expect this home team and the home crowd to be very fired up this evening.
No doubt about it. A very, very emotional game for Holt. They have to be very careful that they're not too emotional. They need this win and this win to get into the playoffs. So yes, they got a lot of emotion, but sometimes if you're too emotional, it can backfire on you. So they really have to make sure that they concentrate, do the things that they've done all year long that's gotten them the many wins as they've had. They must be careful that they're not too emotional for this game.
This Holt community was electrified in 1995 with a team that went 9-0 in the regular season and won 3 games in the playoffs, picking up trophies all along the way and finishing up in the Pontiac Silverdome with a very disappointing championship game loss against a private school. But the entire area was really lit up over this team. The last 2 years have been drop-off years for the Holt Rams with 3- and 4-win seasons, and primarily largely due to the fact that 1995 team was built on a group of seniors who basically played together since about 5th grade. And, like it happens in all school sports, eventually they have to graduate and leave. They're conducting the coin flip here, and boy, look at those teams out there. Both teams, the Grand Ledge team is off the sidelines, and they're onto the field, and the entire Holt team is onto the field. It's almost like this is the Super Bowl, and you can see Keith Allen down there, part of the pregame coin flip. If we can get a shot across the way of the fans that are in attendance here for Grand Ledge, this is by far the biggest crowd. There they are. And it may not, I don't know if it looks big to, you know, people at home, but that is a lot of people to come to a road game here in high school football.
Oh, no doubt about it. That section is almost filled, so it shows the importance of this game. Grand Ledge, you know, been coming into this game, they're very relaxed. They know they don't have to have a win, but yes, they would like to have a win to keep the momentum going into the playoffs. But Grand Ledge, very relaxed. They'll just come out, play their ordinary game, and as they always do, week in and week out, try to be very proficient in the things that they do.
Well, evidently Grand Ledge won the toss because they will be kicking off. And back to receive for the Holt Rams will be one of the stars of last week's team, number 1, Devin Lambert, who came off the bench and played one of the backfield positions vacated by Keith Allen when he went to the hospital. Also back to receive Kenny Day and Michael Reich. And that is basically the starting backfield for the Holt Rams.
And they're very quick, excellent runners. As we saw, Ken Day can cut back against the grain very well. So really a very fine running trio for Holt.
And kicking off for Grand Ledge, one of the best high school kickers in this area, Pat McKinnon. And he could play prominently later in this game. This is a low kick, and it'll bounce twice and off the hands of Kenny Day, who picks it up at his 15-yard line and looking for running room. Doesn't go down easily, but finally tackled at the 21-yard line.
And good field position to start out with, and now we'll see what Holt will do. They run a basic offense with the wing, but use a lot of multiple formations. And so you'll see basically an I-back, and they will run out of all different kinds of formations. But a lot of basic plays, Ben, basic fundamental plays, passes, and runs. It's just that they use a lot of formations to run their plays.
Mike Smith calls it a multiple formation option offense, 36 different sets. And he's starting now, look at this, with a shotgun on the first play of the game, 4 wideouts, but it's going to be the quarterback just running, and it looks like it's an option out of the shotgun. It definitely does not work. That was Ryan Anderson from quarterback.
Ideally, he wanted to spread the field on that. Maybe the quarterback would have a chance to pop one. I asked Coach Smith before the game, did he have any new wrinkles? And he said, no, we're just going to run our same plays. But that looked like a little bit of a wrinkle.
Yeah, the normal wrinkles for the Holt offense. And you wonder sometimes where Mike Smith got his ideas playing 1971 through 1973 at MSU under Duffy Doherty. And we sure didn't see these sorts of plays out of Duffy Doherty most of the time at MSU. Now it's the double wing set. Devin Lambert is the down back in the backfield. And this is going to be Lambert up the middle. Not much doing right there, maybe about a yard.
I'll tell you, Ben, that Grand Ledge defense is very, very tough. And getting off of the bottom of the pile, one of their interior linemen for Grand Ledge looked like number 52 there, getting off Neil Costello, getting off the bottom of the pile. And I'll tell you, Grand Ledge, they've got an outstanding linebacker. Keep your eye on Jake Hunton, number 45.
Back to the shotgun on 3rd and 9. Anderson, he's got some time. He's going to throw way downfield and picked off. That's Nate Williams with the ball, returning it for Grand Ledge down to the 30-yard line. So a big turnover here on the 3rd play of the game. Picked off by Nate Williams, the 6'1", 210-pound junior for Grand Ledge.
And what Nate tried to do, he was trying to get it over into coverage, as you see. Good blocking, and this was the running play before then. That was the running play, but good blocking on that play. And Nate picked it off, made a good return. The first turnover of the game. Let's see if Grand Ledge can capitalize on it.
Nate Williams out of the linebacker position. Now it's the straight I formation. The running back is Mike Ballou. We're going to see a lot of this all night long off the right side for about 3 yards.
And I think we're going to see a lot of good defense tonight, Ben. Both teams are really very good defensive teams. We should see a lot of hard hitting tonight.
Brad Lundquist is the quarterback. He is a senior. Dusty Dye, the tailback, or I'm sorry, the fullback. He is a senior as well. And Mike Ballou is the running back. We just saw him, and he is a junior. Ballou has had some very big games this year, and he is running behind a very big offensive line. 2nd and 9, and that's Dusty Dye in motion, almost drawing the defense. Ballou picking his way through the right side again, and he's got about another 2 yards.
Nice hole that time. Picked up a couple of yards, but the linebackers for Holt really closed quickly on that one and making the stop. But a nice hole initially, got a couple of yards. So now another key 3rd down play, this time for Grand Ledge.
This will be the 5th play from scrimmage. Make that the 6th play from scrimmage tonight. 2 short gains by Holt, then the interception, and now 2 short gains by Grand Ledge, and this is going to be 3rd down and 7. Offset I for the Comets. Back to throw is Lundquist. Short toss, and that's Dusty Dye out of the backfield. One of the things that Mike Smith said they had to deal with, and it looks like a 1st down.
And that's right. Mike Smith said they had to control the short passing game, and they love to go to the fullback out of the passing game. As you see, number 33 slipped out the backfield, and he just goes over. The linebacker has to try to keep up with him, and he gets just enough for the first down. And that's fullback Dusty Dye. That's a play that Holt is going to be aware of, but again, being aware of it and trying to stop it is two totally different things.
Dusty Dye does a lot of things for this Grand Ledge team. He's carried the ball 36 times. He's caught 12 passes, and obviously he blocks a lot. This time, Ballou is hit in the backfield and taken down by Derek Henderson.
Good, strong hit by the defensive tackle, and that's where you like. That's what you like to see. The defensive tackles, the guys up front, make the plays. Now here you go. You'll see he gets the handoff, and he's right in there. He just plain and simply beat the guard tackle, split the gap, and makes an excellent play.
So 2nd down and 11 now. Grand Ledge on their first series of the game after a pickoff and a return to the 30-yard line. Ballou running behind Dusty Dye. Hit after a very short gain down at the 20, make it the 15-yard line.
Not a lot of running room tonight, Ben, for either team, and both teams are really going to be committing to the run. Grand Ledge, Holt is up there on the line now, another passing situation. So again, Holt very aware of Dusty Dye coming out of the backfield, but again, very difficult for a linebacker to try to keep up with the running back.
Jacob Snelling now is wide on the far side of the field for the Comets, an I formation with a double tight end set. Lundquist on a rollout. There he's got his man, and that is Coleman, the tight end, and he's in for a touchdown.
Good, well-designed play. Tight end comes up, comes across, and gets it. You'll see this on the replay. Good play by Grand Ledge. He fakes in the backfield. Good blocking. I really like the blocking. And the tight end ran across the field and just basically outran the linebackers. And linebackers usually have to cover the tight ends, and they were there. Good, well-designed play for Grand Ledge as they score, and off of the first turnover of the game.
Coleman, 6'4", 235 pounds. He's a junior and not among the leading receivers for the Comets this year. And now into kick is Ryan McKinnon. This one is up, and it is good. And these extra points, you know, you can get bored watching them, but this young man, Pat McKinnon from Grand Ledge High School, has hit 31 in a row. That will make 32 now. He got his name in the High School Athletic Association record book last year as a junior by hitting 37 out of 39. He had a 30 kick streak last year. Well, let's take a look back at last week real quickly and hear from Mike Smith on what was a very interesting game between Holt and Sexton.
Well, last week's Sexton's game is a great game. You know, if you're a fan and you're up in the stands, or like if you're working for the cable company, that's a wonderful thing. If you're a coach, that's a little bit too close a game. But is it, you know, that's what high school sports is supposed to be about, is about trying your best and leaving everything on the field. And both Sexton and Holt, you know, left every physical, you know, ability right out there in that field. And
McKinnon's kickoff is bobbled again by Kenny Day, who's trying to find some running room, and he lights up the home crowd as he works his way out to about the 35-yard line.
I'll tell you, Ben, what that does when the receiver bobbles the ball, it always seems to throw the rhythm of the kick team off. And he bobbled it, and he caught it, and that just threw them off slightly, created a little seam for him. We were able to make an excellent return, and Holt this time starting from their own 35.
So just 4 minutes into this game, and Grand Ledge has taken a 7-0 lead. Now the wishbone backfield for the Holt Rams. All three running backs the same. This one's going to be a give to Kenny Day, who just returned the kickoff, and he is really scrapping for yardage, and he's busting to the outside. Kenny Day now, and it could be a foot race, and he's going to be chased down from behind. Whoa, that's a big tackle from behind by number 77, Mark McAnally. How did that big guy ever catch him?
Impressive. Mark McAnally, good speed for a defensive lineman. If there are any college scouts watching him, they will take note of that. Tremendous run, though, by Keith Day. I mean, Kenny Day, that is, out of that wishbone formation. He broke a lot of tackles and broke it outside. You'll get a chance to see it here on the replay. You see, hit once, hit twice. He breaks it to the outside cut, and that big lineman just runs him down. Great speed, great hustle by the lineman, Mark McAnally.
Well, Kenny Day is all first and second gear. He did not have a third gear. Here he is again, and this time he's thrown down in the backfield for a loss. by Jacob Huntoon.
And he is their leading tackler on Grand Ledge. He has 90 tackles so far this year, and I'll tell you, he's all over the field. The second most tackles on the team is 56, so that shows you how active Jake Huntoon is. Stump McLean is second in the team on tackles, but Jake Huntoon just all over the field.
Jake Huntoon, excellent size for a linebacker at any level of football, 6'2", 235. That'll bring up second down and 11. Lambert in motion. A quick pitch today. He's looking to throw, and he's not going to get a chance. Torn down in his own backfield for about an 8-yard loss.
And he was hit by Stump McLean, the man I just mentioned. And Stump McLean now tied for the lead on sacks on this team. Well, we can't really call that a sack, but he was caught in the backfield for a loss. Stump McLean has 10 sacks for Grand Ledge. Bill Barnes, the other end, has 11. So they really have a nice pair of bookends on this Grand Ledge team.
Nate Williams also in on the tackle. Now we've got a shotgun formation on 3rd and 19. Trips left. And Anderson is looking to throw. Nobody's really open. He's going to have to take it, and he's right near the line of scrimmage when he throws. No flag thrown, so it's just going to be incomplete.
And he did have a man open. Number 10, Mike Reich, was open. He came back to him, as any good receiver is supposed to do. If you see your quarterback in trouble looking, come back to him. He just couldn't get the ball to him. And he did have some running room that time, Ben. It was a possibility that if he had have ran, not saying he would have got the first down, but there was some running room down the left sideline.
The ball is spotted at the 33-yard line, so it's sort of no man's land here, even though it's 4th and 19. The Rams will go for it. A decision a lot of coaches would make in the same situation. Trips left again, shotgun formation. Ryan Anderson looking for Wigington over the middle, and just out of his reach, out of his hands, Nick Wigington downfield, and he almost pulled it in.
Almost pulled it in, had to stretch for it a little bit, but a good, hard, sharp pass, and we'll see, was this really a catchable ball, or did he just throw it out of his reach? Good pass protection on that. Catchable ball there, Ben. Definitely a catchable ball, and young man just couldn't come up with it.
But it would have been a great catch, and that's a ball that was not perfectly on the money, but you can see both quarterbacks tonight, both Lundquist and Anderson, have good arms. They're probably medium good arms, not the greatest, probably not all American caliber arms, but they have good ball clubs, good offenses, good offensive schemes, and good arms, so no trouble getting the ball up in the air tonight. This is Ballou. No surprise, and he gets about 2 yards.
And I'll tell you, as we know, Ballou is one of the outstanding runners in the Capital Area Conference, and he's had just tremendous success, had 22 touchdowns this year, averaging almost 6 yards a carry. But so far, Ben, what we've seen tonight, Holt is just not giving up much running room.
It's been a big play first half so far, actually first quarter. We're only midway through the first quarter. That was a 3-yard gain, bringing up 2nd and 7. The offset eye, and this is Wolscheid in motion. Lundquist throwing right over his head, which is hard to do when you're 6'6", but that one is incomplete.
Yeah, he never set himself in that one. He had the tight end, he had him out in the open of the flanker, but he went back, and as he was going back, he threw the ball, not giving himself time to set, and then making the throw, and he just threw it over the head of the receiver, that particular play.
Wolscheid and Coleman are the downfield receivers for the Comets, along with Jacob Snelling. Make it 3rd and 7. Offset eye. Snelling, top of the screen. Dusty Dye in motion. Lundquist to throw. A little bit of pressure, but he finds Joe Wolscheid this time for a first down.
And Joe making a nice catch coming up, and we'll see the replay coming up here. But a good catch and just enough for the first down. Grand Ledge with a nice short passing game. Again, good pass protection, good blocking, no one getting close to him. And Wolscheid makes the catch. He's a very nice play for Grand Ledge.
Wolscheid with only 10 catches this year and no touchdowns, but he is only a sophomore and tremendous potential at 6'6" and 207. Ball is right near midfield at the Grand Ledge 48-yard line. Quick give to Dusty Dye, getting a chance to carry the ball and fighting for about 3 yards.
You know, you love to, if you can, pick up 5 to 6 yards on first down, but so far, Holt's defense has been holding to 5 yards or less and forcing Grand Ledge into early passing situations, which isn't bad for Grand Ledge because they have a very nice controlled short passing game.
I think Grand Ledge is content to get 2-3 yards on their bad plays because they know their good plays are going to go for a whole lot more. This time, Wolscheid is at the bottom of your screen. Jacob Snelling in the slot. It's going to be Mike Ballou. And again, not very much. maybe about 2 more yards.
Yes, the yards are coming very, very hard on the ground tonight for Grand Ledge, I'll tell you. We're going to be in for, as they say, trench warfare tonight in this game.
And Holt has called a timeout.
But so far, Holt's playing well. They've called a timeout defensively. They did have the 1 turnover, which hurt them, which led to Grand Ledge's only score.
Coming up at halftime, we're going to see a combination of Holt Public School bands, and to get a preview, we're going to go down to the Troost Field sidelines with Jolynn Thomas. Make it Emily Wagner.
I'm here with Tim Perry, Holt band director. Tim, tell us about your special halftime show that's tonight.
Well, we have a show that's called The Light Show. It's a combination of all of the band students from 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th grade. We have about 500 students on the field, and we will be turning the stadium lights off, and it's just something you need to see to appreciate. The crowds are always full every year that we do it, and all the parents show up. It's real exciting.
Thanks a lot. Back up to Ben Stark in the press box.
Thank you, Emily. And Mr. Tim Perry, the director of bands at Holt High School, got his Bachelor of Music Education degree from Michigan State University. So he's a Spartan along with Mike Smith. He's in his 8th year at Holt High School, and his bands have tripled in size over those 8 years to a total of 220 members. 3rd down and 5. The offset eye now. And jumping into the neutral zone is one of the defensive linemen for Holt. That is an automatic dead ball penalty. And that's going to be marched off to the tune of 5 yards. And Earl, it looks like they're going to be about 2 feet short after the penalty mark-off.
I'll tell you, that sort of hurts that Mike Smith, the coach of Holt, called that timeout to get his team ready for this 3rd and 5, because he knows a short pass was coming, and he had everything, the defense he wanted. The young man, a little excited, jumped offside. So you're right, either this is going to be very, just a couple of feet, a few inches short, or they will barely have a 1st down. But obviously, Coach Smith has to be a little disappointed that this young man jumped offside, but that's part of football.
Yeah, it looks like it was enough for the 1st down as they're moving the chains, and so that'll be a 1st down by penalty. The ball will be spotted at the Holt 41-yard line. Again, a reminder for people who are watching, as soon as you cross into that neutral zone in high school football, it's a dead ball foul on the defense. They do not have the opportunity to get back on sides. 1st and 10. Lundquist with the give to Ballou, and so far not much going for Mike Ballou.
And he was met and greeted that time by Grand Ledge, and number 74 for Grand Ledge hit him that time. So, I mean, for Holt hit him that time. That was Derek Henderson, and good play by Derek.
And now we've got a little bit of an injury question for Holt. This is Jeremy DeYarmond, who's limping off the field. No way to tell what it is. Ankle, knee, could be anything.
Actually, that was Jeff Beard who made the stop on that last play for Holt. Hopefully the young man will be all right. Might have just a little sprain or twisted an ankle, and they're going to check him out.
2nd down and 8 now. In motion is Snelling. It's the pitch to Ballou. And he picks his way through to about the 35-yard line, which will bring up 3rd and about 4.
And Michael Reich making the stop that time. I'll tell you, Mike Ballou is finding a tough time getting some running room here tonight. Very tough time. As you see, he's going off tackle. First hit by number 40, tripped up by number 10 falling in, but he was tripped up before then. And a good play as the Holt defense is very, very active.
It's really 3rd and 4, although the scoreboard says 3rd and 3. Ballou needs to cross the 30, and he does not, so stopped short. Very close, though. He actually only needed to get to the 31, and he's at about the 32. So once again now, Grand Ledge and Pat O'Keefe, they are in no man's land here at the 33-yard line on 4th and 1. We can expect they will certainly go for it here on 4th down.
Nice options on 4th and 1. You can have a straight-ahead dive play. You could run an option from right here. You could have one of those very safe, controlled passes in this situation. 4th and 1, you can do a lot of different things.
Nate Jensen enters the game, and Nate Williams for Grand Ledge. It's the power I formation with Williams at the power fullback position, double tight end. It's really hard to stop him in this. And they almost did, but I think that Ballou just got across the marker.
Yes, he did. He fought his way across the marker. Number 65 for Holt tried to pull him back. That was Derek Henderson, tried to slow him down, but Mike Ballou just fought hard enough and just got that first down.
Earl, there are a lot of challenging situations in football at all levels, but this year at Capillary Football on our coverage, mission impossible has been to stop Grand Ledge on a short yardage situation when they go into that power I with the double tight end. It's just about impossible.
They've got that big, huge offensive line that can really move people out of the way.
Woolshide and Snelling, top of your screen. The offset I, and this is going to be Lundquist on play action. He's got a man way downfield to Snelling. Oh, yes, touchdown, Grand Ledge.
Great catch, great play. Again, constantly running, ran 4 straight plays, got the first down, got Holt to cheat in a little bit, and boom, went for the long one.
Boy, that was an exciting play. I sort of lost it for a second there, but we haven't seen Grand Ledge throw downfield quite that much this year. Brad Lundquist, that's only his 4th touchdown pass of the year, but he certainly aired it out on this one.
It looks like he just got everything up under it, threw it as hard and as far as he can, and a great catch by Grand Ledge player, and who made that catch for us? Jacob Snelling.
Yep.
on the touchdown catch.
And pretty much a perfectly executed play by the Comets all around on that one. Well, it is senior night here at Holt High School, and Mike Smith talked to us before the game about the type of support that he gets here at Troost Field.
Oh yeah, this joint will be jumping out here. You know, it'll be our senior night, and then all of a sudden we're going to have our light show out here, which would be a big night. And yes, there's going to be a lot of fun stuff going on, and then somewhere all in between that we'll have a football game.
Coach Smith talking about the halftime show, which will include a light show. And again, we heard from Tim Perry, the director of bands. They're going to have a middle school, high school. They'll have a wide array, a large assortment, a collection of Holt students that'll be out here at halftime. All the lights will be turned down, so it should be exciting. Ryan McKinnon has made his 33rd extra point in a row, and now he kicks off for Grand Ledge. It's a squibber, and the ball is loose. That is definitely a live ball. And falling on it down at his own 20-yard line is Adam Veely.
Well, Ben, obviously not the kind of start that Mike Smith envisioned his whole team to get off to, down 14-0 with 1:55 left in the first quarter. Too early to abandon your original game plan, so you'll still keep trying to do the things, mixing the run and the pass, and just try to get a score, you know, but you don't have to rush anything at this point in time.
Here's one of those 36 formations. It's a double wing set with Lambert at the down back, and this is Devin Lambert. Not getting much.
Good stick by that name we'll hear quite a bit tonight. Jake Huntoon, number 45, popped him as he went through the hole, holding him to a short gain. I tell you, this young man and this defensive teams, really both teams, Holt and Grand Ledge really are playing very well. The turnover caused Grand Ledge his first score, and then Grand Ledge getting the big play on the long pass on the second score.
Well, don't look for the Rams to give up tonight. They need to win to advance, otherwise it's all over for all these seniors on the ball club. Oh, look at this one. Anderson throwing over the middle and just being in the right place at the right time. And you were just talking about him. Jake Huntoon with an interception. That's the second interception of the first quarter by the Comets, right down in the same area of the field. And this is just a matter of being in the right place and the right time. Watch for number 45.
Yes, he threw it hard. He did not see him come over because number 80, he saw the seam there, looked like he was open, and he just came over, picked it off, and a good play. The ball was intended for Matt McClure from Holt, and of course it got picked off, and now Grand Ledge with their second turnover in the first quarter.
Excellent football instincts by Huntoon, who has been a 4-year starter on the varsity team. This is Mike Ballou. Now he's finding some yardage off the right side.
Picking his way through that hole. I mean, that was a nice piece of running, good blocking, but not a lot of room to run, and he maneuvered his way through the hole to pick up about 6 yards. It looks like a very good run.
Earl, it's almost unfair, you know, with this Grand Ledge team. They're so big. We've seen Michigan State sometimes use linebackers smaller than Jake Huntoon, who is 6 foot and 230 pounds, and just about every position on the Grand Ledge team is almost small college or even large college size. Mike Ballou now off to the outside. It's going to be a foot race to the corner, and he'll score. Another touchdown for Grand Ledge, and they've jumped out to a 20-0 first quarter lead.
on another turnover, and we'll see this another key turnover. Also a good stiff arm you'll see by Mike Ballou. He takes it and he starts to go inside. He jumps it, pops it outside, and just decides to go good stiff arm there, and just now a race for the end zone, and Holt players hustling, but he gets in, and now it looks like Grand Ledge is going to go up possibly 21-0. And Ben, obviously not a great start for Holt, a team that desperately needed this win to get into the playoffs.
Although we saw them come back last week from a deficit against Sexton here on their home field. So this game is a long way from over, but certainly a 21-point lead will be a tough deficit to overcome. And again, this little sidelight story, Ryan McKinnon there has now kicked his 33rd, make that 34th extra point in the road this season. His streak last year was 30. And he is in the record books for that. Not necessarily, he's not the all-time leader, but he is high enough to get placed in the Michigan record books, high school football record books. We've got just 36 seconds left here in the first quarter. We're going to head back down to the Troost Field sidelines with Emily Wagner.
I'm with Becky and PJ, two Holt High School varsity cheerleaders. And tell us, girls, how do you guys get your team pumped up?
Well, we decorate signs for the halls, and we make candy for the guys and make cookies, and we've had a special spirit week for this week because it was the Grand Ledge big game, and we just decorated our placards and everything for that.
All right, back up to Ben Stark and Earl in the press box.
Thank you, Emily. It is 21-0, and that touchdown by Mike Ballou, his 23rd of the season, as he has gone over 1,300 yards this year, running behind a big offensive line for the Comets.
Now, I'll tell you, turnovers kill you. Coaches hate them, Ben. And unfortunately, Holt has already had 2 turnovers, which has led to 2 of the 3 Grand Ledge touchdowns.
Buchanan with another squib, and it's hard to make a good return off of a kick like that. Joe Durfee picks it up and gets a few yards. And now we've got some extracurricular hitting going on as the whistles are blowing.
But good blocking, a lot of blocking. They were blocking a little bit. You see that on special teams play quite a bit, a lot of the really hard hitting there. But now Holt really does need to make something happen. They need to, their offense hasn't moved the ball that well, Ben. So from a confidence standpoint, other than the one big play that they had, they really need to get the ball going.
Well, it's gut check time for the Holt Rams now as they trail by 21 on their home field on senior night. Kenny Day cutting upfield, getting a great little run with very little blocking, close to a first down, and that could be the last play of the first quarter.
Good running by Kenny Day, and they're going to need more of that. The offensive line has been creating some seams for Day to run in and run between, so if they can keep going, maybe they can get a score here early in the second period.
Well, that's going to do it for the first quarter as Grand Ledge has jumped out to a 21-0 lead, and stay tuned for more Capital Area football coming up in a moment.
For nearly 150 years, we have been a place of discovery and promise. We are proud of this tradition. It is a spirit that flows through each of us. Our students learn to think and to do. Knowledge passed from one to another. Research that creates solutions. We reach out. We make a difference.
Today's coverage of Capital Area football is brought to you by The Car Shop, your local Napa Auto Care Center, Delhi Rental Center in the Holt Plaza, Hungry Howie's in Holt and Grand Ledge, Golden Apple, downtown Grand Ledge, books and gifts for everyone, and Frankie D's Auto and Truck Repair, serving Holt for 15 years.
Football on Media One Sports. Ben Stark along with Earl Robinson just getting things underway in the second quarter. And that's Devin Lambert who's being denied as he tries for the first down. That was on a 2nd and 1 and he got nowhere.
Doesn't look like Lambert made it that time. So it looks like, well, no, they're signaling. He just got enough for the first down.
He snuck through on the other side of the pile.
Yes, he did. Did a little burrowing there on that particular play. First down for Holt. They've got to see if they can keep it going. They do need to get a score here, get a little bit of confidence back on for their team. Their fans, of course, obviously giving a lot of cheering and really still into the game.
Anderson with a deep handoff to Kenny Day, who's trying to use his speed to get around the corner, but he is run down by Jake Huntoon.
I'll tell you, Jake Huntoon, very active linebacker. Kenny Day, very quick running back, couldn't get outside that time, and they're still trying to move the ball, but I think Holt will probably have to go to the air a little bit here.
Grand Ledge has played almost perfect here tonight. It was almost a perfect first quarter with 2 interceptions, a long touchdown pass, and power running. Holt's going to have to dig down and have a perfect second quarter to even things up. Second down and 11. Anderson rolling to his weak side. He does have a man, Lambert, with a nice catch across the 50 and out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
Good catch by Lambert there. Turned around, caught the ball, and then even after he caught the ball, made a nice run. Something like this definitely can help the Holt confidence, but a very good play, very well executed by Holt. Devin Lambert with a nice catch and run.
Well, the Holt crowd very supportive of their guys tonight. They did not come here to see a defeat. And this is, again, probably the biggest attendance we've had at a game all year with, I'm going to estimate about 1,000 Grand Ledge fans on the other side of the field. I'm not very good at crowd estimates.
I don't know what it was. We got a penalty.
Oh, they did tack on a penalty there.
Maybe a hit out of bounds or something. Maybe, I guess the official will signal us for us.
They marked off 15 , so it must be a late hit.
Yes.
And we missed the signal.
Yeah,
it's got to be a personal.
Giving the signal.
Yeah. Got to be a personal foul because it's 15 yards. So the ball now at the Grand Ledge 30. This is the give to, I believe that's Lambert, and he just doesn't get anything.
And Jake Huntoon making the stop again on Lambert as he tries to go off tackle. And again, Grand Ledge making the stop, but now Holt moving the ball on the 30-yard line and trying to get in position to score.
Huntoon calling the signals for the Grand Ledge defense, number 45 in the white jersey tonight. 2nd and 10. Another deep handoff to Kenny Day. He needs a block to turn the corner. Oh, he cuts up nicely and gets about 6 yards.
Yes, we're able to cut up, but the defense played it well. They all, when you're on defense, what you want to do when you see that tailback coming outside, you want to string it out. And they strung it out, forced him to go wide. And yes, he did pick up about 5 yards, but now it's 3rd and 5, so he picked up 4 yards on that particular play. But the defense played it well, strung it out, but yet and still, Day with the quick speed was able to pick up a few yards and got four yards on that one.
Wishbone backfield for the Holt Rams now. Anderson will give to Kenny Day, tripped up immediately, and down he goes after a very short gain, tackled by Nate Williams.
And so now that 4th down situation, but again, we know, Ben, that they were going to go for this in this situation, the short yardage territory. They're on the 25-yard line, so more than likely, though, they will probably pass. We've seen Holt going to trips on either side, so we'll probably see the trips to one side, but obviously a 4th down, a passing situation. And yes, they're going into trips.
Yeah, there it is again, trips left, shotgun formation. Anderson certainly has got the arm to get the ball downfield. He only needs 5. It is 4th down now for Holt. Anderson, plenty of time to look and throw, and he's got Devin Lambert for a 1st down. Lambert down to the 20, make it the 14-yard line.
Good catch by Devin Lambert. What they did, again, when you put those trips out left, it forces the defense to spread, and he's just trying to find which receiver is the most open, and there he is. Devin Lambert makes a good catch. As you notice, he put both hands on the ball, did not want to fumble, held it well, went down, and that's another good lesson for young men. Put both hands on the ball to take the least chance of fumbling.
Here's the double wing, and Kenny Day on the counter. Hit immediately. Again, it's Huntoon chasing him down, and I don't think he gained a yard.
Very tough, as we've mentioned, Ben. This defense by Grand Ledge, so quick. They tried a little misdirection that time. Didn't work, but they will run that play a couple of times during the game because that is a play that if it's run right, blocked properly, you can break a long run off of that formation, off of that play.
And a correction, I believe that was Justin Mullins on the tackle. So now it is 2nd down and 9. And Kenny Day hit immediately again. The Grand Ledge linebacker is dominating the line of scrimmage. That was Jake Huntoon.
And another tackle. He shot the gap on this one. As you'll see, you can see Jake Huntoon coming up right in the gap, just read the play perfectly and made the stop, and then had some help from his friends. But Jake Huntoon played that play perfectly, shot the gap, got him in the backfield.
Earl, it's almost unbelievable. You know, Huntoon's been playing not since his junior year, not since his sophomore year, but since his freshman year.
That is amazing, Ben. Truly amazing.
It does not happen very often. 3rd down and 10. Back to the trips formation. Anderson looking to the end zone. He's got Michael Reich, and it's a Holt touchdown.
Just what Holt needed, Ben. They needed this score now. Gets them back in the game, gets their players pumped up. Good play, good pass by Holt. And I tell you, they really needed that score to keep them in the game so it doesn't get out of hand.
I'll tell you, the Holt Rams dug down deep on that drive and rallied around their senior quarterback and their senior running back, Devin Lambert, with their star running back on the sidelines, Keith Allen. They came all the way down the field and got in the end zone.
Mike Reich with a good catch and ran across field to get in the end zone.
Mike Marino now on the extra point. And these will all be important. Marino, the younger of the Marino brothers. Michael Reich downfield had an interesting pattern. He slashed back inside there and made the catch. I don't know exactly what that route was.
Yep, a little crossing pattern, actually a little post pattern, and he probably could have cut up in the end zone a little bit quicker, but they spread it. I think the two ends, outside ends, sort of ran a flag, went left, and he came up across the middle and got a nice play.
And Ryan Anderson hit the bullseye on that one. Well, it's our last night of the regular season of high school football, but stay tuned for more coming up on Media One Sports. MSU women's volleyball just around the corner. In fact, it's going to be tomorrow night. We'll be at Jennison Fieldhouse to cover Michigan State versus Indiana. That game will be taped late and played the following night. That's Sunday night. So for some of you, that's tomorrow night, and for some of you, it's already come and gone. But and then the following next week, we're going to cover the MSU-Michigan game. Saturday, November 7th is the playtime for that, and stay tuned for that coming up on your Media One Sports channel. Later on, we've got MSU women's basketball. In the month of December, we've got 4 games. And you can see some of those games there on your screen on December 1st and December 9th. And then later on in the month of December on the 21st and the 30th. And you'll hear more about that coming up on Media One Sports. Kicking off for the first time, the Holt Rams, after scoring a touchdown to bring the score to 21-7. And that was a short return by Dan Walker. Actually, he got out past the 25-yard line to the 27. And that's where Grand Ledge will set up. And Earl, this is a little bit obvious to say, but I believe their worst field position of the night.
Yes, it is. So this is the first time Grand Ledge is going to have to go a long way to score. So this is good for Holt. They've got the adrenaline going. They've got the score. Let's see what they can do with a little bit of momentum on their side from that last touchdown.
Dusty Dye in motion from the fullback position, but it's Mike Ballou, the workhorse for the Comets this year, getting about 6 yards.
And just plain simple, straight ahead blocking, just a straight dive play off tackle. They were able to create the seam for Ballou, and Ballou just took it for 5 yards. And you always love to see your team get big chunks of yardage on first down.
Earl, Mike Ballou is getting the ball about 25 times, make that about 27 times a game exactly. 27 carries in a game for a high school running back is a ton. 2nd down and 4. Here he comes again. He's got a first down. He's burst into the backfield, and he could go now. He's got 2 men to beat on the far sideline. It's a foot race, and he's going to go all the way. Mike Ballou, no flags on the field, just like that. Another touchdown for Grand Ledge.
I'll tell you, that really hurts Holt, Holt that time. Just a tremendous run by the runner. Nice hole open up. You'll see the play here. He just gets past tackle. Good blocking. And he just basically outruns the defenders, the linemen, defensive lineman, defensive end, and in for the score. Just flat out, just outran them, Ben, for the score. That puts Grand Ledge, gives them that 3-touchdown cushion again.
And in the 9.5 quarters we've covered Grand Ledge this year, that's the best run by Mike Ballou from scrimmage that I've seen. It's his 24th touchdown of the year, and now he's pushing towards 1,400 yards on the season.
And that's going to push his per yard average up somewhat. I tell you, Ben. I tell you, great run though, and that was just his speed against Holt on that particular play.
And we've talked about the playoff rankings. Here's how it stacks up as we head into this game. Rockford still undefeated out in the Grand Rapids area. Grand Ledge at 7-1. Holding what would be a home field in the playoff situation with that number 2 spot. Holt, though, you can see him knocking on the door, but right now that door is pretty tightly shut.
Yes, Holt needed this win, and still plenty of time for them to come back, Ben, but obviously they've got to put some points on the board.
Again, the top 4 in each region advance. And Ryan McKinnon, by the way, 35 kicks in a row, extra points. Now we go down to the sidelines with Emily Wagner.
I'm here with Greg and Jeremiah and the Holt Shockwaves. Guys, tell us about this unique car.
Well, it's designed of carbon fiber and student designed, student built, about 90 hours a week.
Runs two 12-volt batteries.
And you guys have won a world record with this.
There's 2 cars. Holt has 2 cars. Both of them hold world records in their class because there's 2 classes.
Thanks a lot, guys. Back up to the action with Ben Stark.
Thank you, Emily. This is Devin Lambert, who played such a big role in last week's win over Sexton and taking the ball right up the middle. Interesting, we saw that car driving around the track, and I'm not sure if they're going to put it away now or drive it some more, but interesting report on the sideline there from Emily Wagner.
Looks like fun, Ben. Would you like to try driving that car around a little bit?
Well, you know, think about that. We'll see if they ask us. Let's leave it like that. Well, once again, though, the Holt Rams have their backs up against an early wall here on their home field on senior night, midway through the second quarter, and they trail 28-7. Grand Ledge has come out with a fury, trying to lock up the home field position. Home field advantage in the playoffs next week. That was Kenny Day, who was sneaking around for about 4, maybe 5 yards.
Broke the ball, broke the play back against the grain. It was pretty much bottled up, so he went back against the grain. Almost broke that one for a long, long gain. But still, not a bad gain, 4 yards on first down. So again, now holding a situation where they need to score.
Well, they can't score 21 points on one play, so they'll have to take it one series at a time. Anderson throwing and overthrowing. Oh, he's got his man. Look at that. Downfield with the catch is Matt McClure.
Matt McClure, he was there. Good throw by the QB. Good throw by Ryan Anderson, and good protection again. Both quarterbacks getting good protection. Throw a little wobbly, but it was on the mark and hit him right in the hands. Good catch, and Holt is able to move the ball through the air this afternoon, and I think, Ben, they're probably going to have to go to the air a little bit more tonight if they want to win this game.
It wasn't pretty, but it was right on the mark, and there's Matt McClure on the sidelines making a good catch in some cool weather. Ball at the 41-yard line. We've got, here's the quarterback draw out of the shotgun. And this is a play, that's an option that I think Ryan Anderson has out of the, one of these 36 formations. We've seen him run a quarterback draw several times in the 3 games we've covered.
That's right. He just sort of faked a deep little pass, and then the middle opened up. Nice blocking, nice individual tackle there by Grand Ledge's number 64 for them, and who made a nice stop. But that was play.
Yeah, Jacob Carter, but Jake Huntoon was right there again. And I think that's the big difference, that inside middle linebacker position. You want to clear that guy out on a quarterback draw, and Huntoon just couldn't be cleared out. Second down and about 5. Kenny Day on the near side. All these runners for Holt are very spirited. Lambert and Reich and Day. Of course, Keith Allen, who's not able to play tonight because of the concussion last week. And this Holt team is not going to go down easy.
Kenny Day trying to take it outside. Tried to stiff arm Bill Barnes, but Bill stuck with him and made the tackle. And I'll tell you, I really like, even though the score looks like we've got a lot of offense, I still, other than the turnovers, I like the way both defenses are playing tonight, Ben. Both active, both making some good stops.
And it is 4-down situation once again with the ball spotted at the 33-yard line. 3rd down and 2. They'll have 2 tries to get the first down. They don't need it. Here's Kenny Day with the first down.
Big hole up the middle, and Kenny Day runs for about 6-7 yards on that one. Gets the first down, makes it look easy. But again, this Holt offensive line, the Grand Ledge offensive line, both doing a good job in opening up holes for their team.
Yeah, big offensive linemen for Holt, but the running backs are fast. They hit the hole fast. We saw Kenny Day get run down from behind somehow by a defensive lineman earlier, but they hit the holes fast, and this time it's Devin Lambert. Just not much of a hole there.
Still picked up about 3 yards. I mean, they got a good push from the Holt offensive line that time, and just did a nice push, nice job. And we should just mention some of the Holt offensive line: left tackle Grant Sarkisian, left guard Dave Norris, center Cedric Ford, right guard Scott Stubble, and left guard, right tackle, that is Jeff Beard. A nice offensive line for Holt.
2nd down and 7. Under 4 minutes to play. Kenny Day cutting up the middle, and he's gone. Kenny Day with a touchdown for Holt.
That was what we call a little counter play, and he just saw the opening and cut through it. Ken Day with good speed. You see, this is like a little counter trap where the guards pull, and he ran through the hole. He starts out, cut straight back, ran through the hole that the guard created, and just ran it straight up the middle, wide open, gets the score. And I'll tell you, Holt hanging in there in this game, even though they're trailing by 3 touchdowns, now by 2 touchdowns. They are definitely not giving up.
Mike Moreno in to kick the extra point. All these extra points will be important in a game like this. And it's good. So our score now is 28-14 with 3:37 remaining here in the first half. Holt and Grand Ledge are the only ones that have a shot in AA in this area. East Lansing, you can see, is virtually locked up playoff position and home field advantage in Region 2 of Class A. Comets really now on the bubble after losing to Mason, who then jumped up into the picture last week. Comets had won 7 in a row before that loss, and Charlotte has faded fast after an early start.
That's right. East Lansing in control. It could be East Lansing Holt.
And while we wait for the kickoff, we'll head back to the Troost Field sidelines with Jolynn Thomas.
I'm with Gary Kaminga, Grand Ledge principal. Gary, it's an important game tonight. Your thoughts?
Very important game for us. My thoughts, I'd like to first congratulate our JV football team and its coaches and our freshman football team and their coaches for undefeated seasons this year. Holt's never out of the game. They're always scary. They'll come back. It'll be a real rough, tough game, but we got to win it. We'll go to the tournaments, and then we'll be able to have home field advantage. So it's an everything for us game.
Okay, well, thanks and all the best. Back to the game with Ben Stark and Earl Robinson.
Thanks, Jolynn. That was Dan Walker with a spirited return and a big hit down at the 25-yard line, and the Holt player has not gotten up yet, so we haven't been able to ID him. I don't want to guess at who it is, but that was a big head-to-head hit. And I think we'll get another look at this one, Earl.
Yes, I mean, it was a tremendous hit, as you'll see coming up. Holt's player full speed. That's number 87.
Joe Durfee.
Joe Durfee made the hit.
I'm afraid this one doesn't look good, Earl. This is not looking good. This was a head-to-head collision, helmet to helmet. What a play by Joe Durfee to lay himself out and smash into Walker. But he is not moving. Now, he could just be shook up. While we wait to see what happens to Joe Durfee, let's hear from Pat O'Keefe, who will give us his view on performance-enhancing drugs.
Well, we try to get as much data as we can and share that with the players and their families and everything. And my feeling on this has always been is that if you have to take it in a tablet or a pill or whatever form, that it's not worth the great work ethic of just a lot of hard work and sweat. So we don't encourage our players to take any supplements. We don't know the long-term effects of it, and we would never jeopardize the health of one of our student athletes 10 years from now.
With literally a college-sized offensive line and some big boys on the defensive side too. Earl, this is oh, that's good to see. Wow, I was starting to really get worried there about Joe Durfee because he was not moving at all, but apparently he was shook up. He may have blacked out, who knows. Second big injury in 2 weeks for the Holt Rams. He is walking off on his own power, and I'm sure they're going to take a good close look at him on the sidelines.
I think so, but he walked off, and thank goodness on his own, just took his helmet off, and they're going to take another look at him.
So first down and 10 now for Grand Ledge with 3:32 remaining in the first half. They've got a 2-touchdown lead at 28-14, and here comes Mike Ballou, again busting through the defensive line into the secondary and down after a 9-yard gain.
I'll tell you now, Ben, the offensive lines, both sides are starting to take control. We're seeing the running game, which was stubbed in that first quarter. Now a lot of movement, good blocking. Ballou finds the seam. Both running backs now, both offensive lines starting to do the job on the other defense.
Second down and 1 now. 3 minutes to play in the first half. Grand Ledge taking their time. They don't want to give the ball back to Holt before halftime. Here's a quick pass out to Wolscheid.
Wolscheid almost went back. He started to go backwards. A lot of receivers have a tendency to do that, to try to create some yardage and create a little space and move up. But he was able to go on and still pick up a couple of extra yards. As you see, catches it instead of turning going forward, goes around number 48, who still grabs him, but he was able to fall forward for about 3 more yards.
Wolscheid on a quick hook pattern way to the far side of the field. It's going to be first down and 10 now for the Comets at their own 41-yard line. Back to throw is Lundquist. Looks like a screen. He's got Dusty Dye on a fullback screen. And Dusty Dye busts across the 50 for another Grand Ledge first down.
First round, good first down. That is good, well executed screen pass to the left side. What you want to do, you just want to hold off that defensive rush just long enough to give the appearance that it's a regular pass play. They slip out into the flats, 2 blockers, almost tripped up, but again, good, well executed play for Grand Ledge.
Dusty Dye doing a lot of things for this Grand Ledge offense. 1st and 10 now for the Comets across midfield at the Holt 48-yard line. It's Mike Ballou. And he's got about 5 yards again.
And making the stop, that's Chad Cleves. Good hit, open field tackle that time, but still about a 4-yard gain. And actually a 3-yard gain, as you see. Nice hold. They're blocking, but that's just a good, solid tackle, one-on-one. Chad Cleves making the stop for Holt.
And a quick timeout called by the officials. I believe Greg Miller had to take a look at his helmet. That's the center for Grand Ledge. Miller and Brian Sheen, Andy Eisler, the guards. Skip Mendoza, the big boy on the right tackle, number 79. And Andy Brown is back on the Grand Ledge offensive line after a strained knee kept him out for a couple of weeks. Snelling and Wolscheid wide at the top of your screen as we set up now for 2nd down and a short 7.
And Holt really needs to stop Grand Ledge from scoring on this drive, Ben.
Clock running under 2 minutes to play. Lundquist play action. He's under pressure. He releases, and Dusty Dye again with a catch downfield and a good run after the catch. He won't go down easy. He's down across the 25 at the 22-yard line.
Good catch and pass, and one good thing we can say about Grand Ledge, Ben, they're not setting on it. They're still pushing the ball downfield.
And we do have a flag on the field. We'll see if we can find something on the run. It's a clip. So let's see if we can find a clip here by Grand Ledge. And it's going to be right there. I don't see it. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. It
just
somebody,
our camera just didn't pick it up that time on the replay. Probably happened on the other side of the field.
Yeah, there was a clip downfield. That'll bring most of this back, or it's going to bring all of it back, really.
Yeah, good break for Holt, though. And so they get to catch a break then, because that was a real good gain for Grand Ledge that time. And now we're under 1:40. Holt really needs, as I said, to make that stop right here.
Holt has called their 2nd timeout of the half. I'll tell you where that clip took place was 11 yards downfield, because they've brought it back. Those 4 yards from the previous gain have been erased. 1:43 to go here in the first half, 28-14. Grand Ledge with a big lead at Holt High School, and stay tuned for more coverage coming up on Media One Sports. MSU women's volleyball right around the corner. In fact, we'll be at Jennison Fieldhouse tomorrow night covering that very good Michigan State University women's volleyball team as they take on Indiana. That game will be played 2 nights from now on Sunday, November 1st on Media One. And then this is the Channel 17 in Lansing schedule, by the way. And then on Saturday, November 7th, we'll replay the MSU volleyball game against Michigan, which is taking place next week. The women's volleyball team at MSU among the top 20 teams in the nation, currently 3rd in the Big Ten. The basketball season about to begin. We've got MSU women's basketball coming up, and the biggest schedule ever for the women's team. 9 games on Media One, starting on Tuesday, December 1st against Detroit, and the rest of the preseason schedule, the December 9th against Ohio, and then December 21st against Notre Dame, and December 30th in the holiday season against Ohio State. Mike Ballou fighting for yardage on 2nd down after the penalty mark off, and he doesn't get much. Clock is running. 1.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
And Ben, that play that we thought wasn't a clip, that might have been because it was on the side, and that was Jeff Beard, who, as we said, was downfield. We thought it might have been on outside of our camera, but I think they may have picked that one up. It's just that the official from that angle might have saw that as a clip.
Dusty Dye is out of the game right now, so there's no fullback. And Lundquist looking downfield, and whoa, look at that catch. Oh, that's a pretty catch by Wolscheid. The 6'6" sophomore diving and extending himself, and a great catch for a first down by Joe Wolscheid.
I'll tell you, Grand Ledge, very impressive. They're able to move the ball. This was made the throw over the 2 defenders. Very good throw by the QB, and he just flats out, dives out to make the play, but a very good throw by the quarterback for Grand Ledge, Brad Lundquist.
Under a minute to play in the first half. Offset eye for the Comets. Back to throw again is Lundquist. It's another screen. Oops, this time hit right in the backfield is Dusty Dye for a loss.
Doesn't work this time, as they say. Went to the well one time too often, as Holt smelled that one out. They go back for the screen pass. As you see, very good reaction. And again, that's their linebacker, number 48 for Holt, making the play. That's Adam Veal. Nice play by the senior.
Well, somebody's called timeout. I think it was Holt, but I don't know why they would call timeout. You'd think it would be Grand Ledge that would call timeout. We did not get a clear signal yet from the officials, and they're talking about the clock, I think, right now. They want to reset some time on the clock. Right now, 33 seconds remaining on the clock. It's going to be second down and really about 14 to go, although the scoreboard says 13. And it's going to be an interesting decision for Pat O'Keefe and the Grand Ledge Comets, whether, you know, how aggressive they want to be here. If they want to throw the ball, a couple of incompletions, they'd have to turn the ball back over to Holt. But again, we're not sure whose timeout that was.
One thing, Ben, I like Grand Ledge's aggressiveness trying to score. We've seen so many college and pro teams that just play it very safe at this time near the first half. You know, put a kneel, just run a few plays, run the clock out, and go in at halftime. I really do like the fact that they're still trying to be very aggressive offensively.
That was Dusty Dye in motion. Lundquist, he wants everything, and this is overthrown over everybody. Jacob Snelling, the intended receiver, and they had a miscommunication.
That's okay.
Yeah, right, because the clock is stopped at 38. Yeah, I want to say, you said we've seen that before. We've seen that way too many times before.
I was trying to be nice, you know. I was just trying to be nice.
Well, you know, I won't name teams, but let's just say there's a lot of teams that people like in this area that do that all too often inside of 1 minute remaining in the first half and just go to the locker room, and you could at least try to accomplish something. So you're right. Grand Ledge aggressive here in the waning seconds of the first half. Lundquist this time will give on a delay to Ballou, and he's going to be short of the first down. So now we'll see, well, I was going to say, now we'll see how aggressive they want to be. And they're going to be aggressive because they'll call timeout now on fourth down.
And on the replays, you see a nice little draw play. Ballou just picking his hole and picking his way up the middle through the hole, that is. And now you figure 4th and 8, 31 seconds. Either Grand Ledge will do one of two things. Either they will throw the pass, a long pass into the end zone, try to get the score, or either they may just run it out from there. But either way, if they go for the score, what the heck, Holt will get the ball with maybe 20 seconds left, and they would have a long way to go. They would have at least, what, 70-something yards to go, about 77 yards to go, Ben. So if they do have an incomplete pass, and really, I don't think Grand Ledge has much to lose by just throwing it in the end zone at this point in time. Maybe they get lucky and get a score. If not, Holt has 77 yards to go to see if they can get a quick score before the half ends.
Well, let's not forget, if Grand Ledge can get the first down, even if they run short on time, they do have Ryan McKinnon, who has kicked 35 consecutive extra points. We don't know his range, but we know that he eliminated Sexton last year in the first round of the playoffs on a 40-yard kick. It may have been a shorter kick than that, but it was a pressure kick at the end. It was a kick to win the game. This is a swing pass to Ballou. He might get the first down on this, and it looks like he's got first down yardage.
Looks like he has the first down, and maybe they'll do like you said, Ben. They may kick the field goal, or they may try to get one more play in possibly before they do that. As you see, just swings it out in this good running room down the right side. Good running by Ballou. Nice tackle by Holt's Devin Lambert, and now we'll see if they're going to line up for the field goal. Number 8.
Jacob Snelling now somehow looks like he hurt his hand, and he's being helped off the field. He may have jammed a finger. It is cold, not freezing, you know, but it's about as cold as it's been yet this fall out there on the playing field. And in for Snelling comes Rodney Mitchner, a 5'7", 145-pound wide receiver. 1st and 10, but only 17 seconds left. Lundquist, play action. He wants to throw. He's got a man over the middle. Ball's tipped up, and looks like it's intercepted. Yes, it is. So Holt picks it off, and that was James Moreno down inside the 5 at about the 3-yard line to stop Grand Ledge as they try to score here at the end of the first half.
That's the old tip drill, Ben. It was tip and good reaction by Holt as they get the interception, stops the Grand Ledge drive, and I'm quite sure that Holt, in this situation, inside their own 5-yard line, will take a knee and go in and regroup at half, trailing by 2 touchdowns. Yes, they're still in the game. Definitely, this game is not over by any stretch of the imagination.
Crowd may not like it if that's what Holt elects to do, but that is what they do on a quarterback sneak, and that'll run out the clock. Moreno, remember, had that great interception last week against Sexton to keep Holt in the game. That wraps things up here for the first half. Our score is Grand Ledge 28 and Holt 14. We'll be back with the halftime show in just a moment.
I'm Lansing Mayor Dave Hollister. As Americans, we are privileged to have the right to vote. Educating young voters is part of that privilege. Media One's View Smart to Vote Smart program teaches young voters how to understand election time messages. View Smart to Vote Smart provides classroom opportunities to evaluate election coverage and gives students the opportunity to develop important skills by becoming cub reporters. To become a cub reporter, call the Media One Education Hotline at 1-800-606-9291.
Thanks for watching Capital Area Football, a special production of Media One Sport. We hope to be back next week with coverage of a local playoff game in mid-Michigan. But to do so, we need your support. If your team has qualified for the Michigan High School playoffs and you'd like to see your team on Media One, call our sales office at 394-9164. Watch your team in the postseason on Media One Sports and help support Capital Area Football.
Halftime at Truist Field here at Holt High School. The lights will be turned off in just a moment. An interesting halftime show under the direction of Tim Perry, and he's got members of the bands all through middle school and high school. We're going to show the whole thing. So let's watch the combined Holt Public Schools marching band.
Thank you very much. The high school band's first selection was the music of the 1970s supergroup Fleetwood Mac. And now the combined 500-man band will perform Gimme Some Lovin', directed by Holt Junior High Director, Ms. Elizabeth Lewis.
I can't do Give Me Love.
Selection, we will perform an Otis Redding tune entitled Respect, directed by middle school director Mr. Mike McMurtry. Enjoy music from the Blues Brothers show as the band plays Everybody Needs Somebody to Love, as directed by high school director of bands Mr. Tim Perry. Please stand and join the combined bands as they perform our own Holt fight song as directed by Senior Drum Major Jason Reese. The Holt Band program consists of over 650 instrumental band students in grades 6 through 12. Holt bands are generously supported by their band boosters, which spent over $2,000 to purchase the glow sticks for tonight's performance. You may help to offset the cost of tonight's performance by putting your generous donation in the bucket located at the band trailer, which may be found near the entrance to the stadium. Also, the band boosters are selling the unique Ram Beanie Babies, which cost $8 each and may be purchased at the band trailer tonight as well. We wish to thank Mr. Seravino for his generous donation to help offset the cost of tonight's show. A special thanks to Molly Noss and the Delhi Dazzlers for their performance tonight. Also, we wish to thank Mrs. Sheila Leverage and the Holt dance team for their participation in tonight's show. The Holt drum line is instructed by Mr. Brad Wall with drum section leader Adam Craig. The Holt color guard is instructed by Mrs. Jennifer Wilson. Holt bands are instructed by Mrs. Elizabeth Lewis, Mr. Paul Dombrowski, Mr. Mike McMurtry, and Mr. Tim Perry. Ladies and gentlemen, once again with drum majors Jason Reese, Kristen Lohr, and Julie Sanchez, we proudly present the Holt Band program.
Schools combined marching bands here at halftime, and a very exciting light show at halftime. I wonder why don't they do that every week?
Oh yes, that's a lot of fun. Great, very great halftime show.
And a lot of credit to the Holt home fans keeping their excitement and enthusiasm as they trail right now 28-14 at halftime. And we're going to take a look at the highlights of the first half. A lot of scoring replays by Grand Ledge.
And I'll tell you, here's the first one, pass play by Grand Ledge, and this was on the benefit of a turnover by Holt, and that's really the margin we have in the first half. 2 turnovers for Holt, by Holt, and 2 touchdowns for Grand Ledge.
And that was John Coleman on a touchdown catch for the first score of the game. That made it 7-0 Comets, and that was after that turnover, as you say, the interception on the 3rd play of the game on a pass by Holt in their own territory, one of 2 interceptions in the first quarter.
And you really can't give a team like Grand Ledge that opportunity to score. And here again, this is not another turnover. Then they had another pass, a short pass in their own territory. And this one, just a great catch. He just flat out dived into the end zone and caught this one. Holt had him in a third and long situation, and yet they came up with a big score.
It was a great passing catch. The quarterback, Brad Lundquist, with about as good a throw as you could make on a ball, and then Jacob Snelling with about as good a catch as you could make after running a perfect pattern. Grand Ledge really came in here with fire in their eyes, and they jumped out to a 14-0 lead. But that's not all. That wasn't where Grand Ledge stopped. They kept pounding away and pounding and pounding, and they finally got into the end zone another time.
And here they go on just a nice running play, and Mike Ballou just jumps outside, and he just runs for the end zone. You'll see he'll make a very nice stiff arm right there, and that cleared his path. And then from there on in, it was just a race for the corner of the end zone, and he gets the score.
Mike Ballou, his 23rd touchdown of the year, and he is pushing towards 1,400 yards this year after a brilliant first half of play, and he's got that great big Grand Ledge offensive line. Well, Holt then did come back. They were trailing 21-0, and they needed to get a score, and they did.
No quit in this whole team. It's a nice pass and catch, and he gets in for their first score.
Brian Anderson showing a good arm and getting the ball down to number 10, which is Michael Reich. And Michael Reich had a great ball game last week here against Sexton, and that made the score 21-7. It looked like Holt was going to get right back into it, but look out, because Grand Ledge came right back again.
Yes, they did. They got their ground game going as well. Both teams started running the ball much more effectively in the second quarter, and both teams were able to establish the run. In this one, just a nice little run. He cuts it outside Ballou, and he goes all the way. What's really impressive about this, he outruns everyone. They had a good angle on him. You can see they had the angle. He outruns the angle and goes all the way in for the score.
He really showed some acceleration. Mike Ballou, a junior this year for the Grand Ledge Comet team, following in the footsteps and the tradition set last year by Matt O'Connor. He runs the ball a lot, 27 carries a game, a huge number for a high school running back. That made the score 28-7, and once again Holt was on the ropes.
But again, Holt fights back. No quit in this whole team. That's why they're only trailing by 2 touchdowns. And they had a nice run as well. Nice little toss, a little cutback. As you see, Kenny Day cuts back into the middle, wide open up in the middle, and runs into the end zone with very good speed.
Yeah, he really bursts across when he hits that hole. He's got great acceleration and really a first and second gear runner, Kenny Day. 28-14, our halftime score, and stay with us. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment on Media One Sports.
If last year was the season to remember, then this year is the season to look forward to. With returning Hobie finalist Mike York, defensive dynamo Mike Weaver, and sophomore sensations Rustin Dolany and Joey Blackburn, the Spartans will be the team to beat as they defend their CCHA title. Don't miss a minute of the action. Spartan Hockey on Media One Sports. The puck stops here.
This is Nick Saban.
And Tom Izzo. Don't let a car crash take you out of the game.
There are some penalties that last a lifetime.
In Michigan, our stats show that every day 1,200 crashes occur, resulting in 400 injuries and 4 people being pulled from the game of life. Play by the book.
Score points with your family.
Drive safe, drive sober.
Because we'd like to see you in the stands all season.
This message brought to you by the Michigan Office of Highway Safety Planning.
Welcome to a land of law, a place ruled by the dinosaur, where cactus-clad mountains spew lava and smoke, and craters hide inquisitive folk, where wise old turtles share their views on creatures with red vests and powder blue shoes. There's so much to Galapagos, so much we could say. 'Twould be most preposterous if it all went away.
What do you want to leave your children? The story or the place that inspired it? Since 1961, World Wildlife Fund has helped safeguard thousands of species like these. Animals which can be found nowhere else on Earth. But in areas like the Galapagos Islands, we need your help to do more. Phone us at 1-800-CALL-WWF to find out about World Wildlife Fund's Living Planet campaign and about our free action kit, which includes information on what you can pledge to do to help leave our children a living planet.
Today's coverage of Capital Area Football is brought to you by Frankie D's Auto and Truck Repair, serving Holt for 15 years. Delhi Rental Center in the Holt Plaza. Hungry Howie's in Holt and Grand Ledge. Golden Apple, downtown Grand Ledge. Books and gifts for everyone. And the Car Shop, your local Napa Auto Care Center.
Welcome back to Capital Area Football on Media One Sports. Getting ready for the second half to start. We're going to go down to Jolynn Thomas on the sidelines.
I'm with Dale Corey, Holt Athletic Director. It's a big game tonight. Your thoughts?
Well, right now we're down, and we let Grand Ledge get ahead there, and Grand Ledge has a very fine team, so I was a little nervous, but our kids came back real well, and we're back in the ball game, and hopefully we can change things around the second half.
All right, well, thank you, and all the best to you. Thank you. That was Dale Corey, Holt Athletic Director. Now back up to the press box and the Media One sports commentators.
Thank you, Jolynn, and special thanks to Dale Corey for all the help that he gives us every time we show up. It's our third night in Holt out of the 9 on Capital Area Football this year. Very accommodating folks here at Holt High School. Also our thanks to David Zippel and Bill Anderson from the Holt Public Schools. They've helped us with the electrical system here that we use when we cover the ball games. We're about ready to get underway now in the second half, and Grand Ledge will be receiving. They'll be defending a 28-14 lead when we get things going. Mike Marino kicking off. And downfield it goes. It looks like Adam Walker. Uh-oh, he's got some running room. It was not Adam Walker, it was Gary Berquist.
And making the stop, Mike Marino, number 12, making the stop for Holt in that situation, and a good run. Very good run. This Grand Ledge starts out with great field position.
So the Comets with a 14-point lead, starting things off here in the second half with the ball at their own 36-yard line. Dusty Dye and Mike Ballou in the backfield for the Comets. Ballou again up the middle, and he doesn't get much.
And it's very important, Ben, if Holt can get a good stop here in this first series, not let Grand Ledge march the ball down the field for a score or eat up a lot of time on that clock. So if Holt can, this defense can hold real tough here and force them into a punting situation. And, you know, I don't think we haven't seen a punt tonight, Ben. You know that, now that I think about it?
You're absolutely right. Tonight. There has not been a punt. Second down and 8. Wolscheid in motion. Back to throw is Berquist. Oh, he's got John Coleman downfield. And another big gain.
Wide open, Ben. The tight end. Very difficult for the linebackers to cover tight ends. As you'll see on the replay, he comes across the field and he just releases. Good protection again by that Grand Ledge offensive line, just doing an outstanding job. He's wide open in the seam there between the linebackers and the DBs, and picks up a very, very nice game.
And Lundquist, the quarterback now, just a minute into this second half. The offset eye, give to Dusty Dye, and he gets about 3 yards.
Good run by the fullback. You'd like for your fullback to get 3 or 4 yards on the first down play, and Dusty Dye picking up 3 or 4 yards there. Good situation for Grand Ledge. They're moving the ball down in the scoring territory inside the 30-yard line of Holt.
Second down and 7 now for the Comets. We have Wolscheid wide on the near side, Snelling in motion on the far side, tossed to Ballou, looking to turn the corner, and he gets a few more yards.
Gets a few yards, making it 3rd and short in this situation. So again, Grand Ledge, they've been known to pass on 3rd and short. Sometimes they'll run, and this situation, I have a feeling they'll probably pass. 3rd and 3 for Grand Ledge right now, and Holt really needs to stop. I mean, it would be very important if they could somehow hold them for 2 downs here and force Grand Ledge just to turn the ball over. But it's going to be tough for Holt.
Ball spotted at the 23, and Ballou is going to have a first down and more. Down across the 15 to about the 12-yard line.
And what happens, Ben, they were geared up to stop the run on that 3rd and 3, and Ballou was able to get a seam, pop it, and get a nice gain for a first down. As you see, the crowd, the line is very crowded, but they create a hole, and he's able to go through for about 7 yards, or actually about 10 yards, picks up a nice gain and a first down for Grand Ledge. They are threatening here early in the 3rd quarter. And Now they're coming, wide outs with trips to both sides, and Grand Ledge probably will and could pass from this position.
First down and 10. That's Dusty Dye in motion, but to give the other way to Ballou, and he's going to be chased out of bounds at about the 11-yard line.
Only picked up a yard that time on that particular play, and so second and long you want to create, but maybe that's not good for them. And now they got a pass again, and Grand Ledge has had a lot of success through the air this evening, Ben, so they better be aware of the pass play, even in the red zone. Grand Ledge has a very effective pass game.
And they play the game all 4 quarters, but this could be the knockout punch if Grand Ledge could get the ball into the end zone again. 2nd and 9. Trips on the right side, but it's just a decoy because here comes Ballou to the right side. Well, forget it. It's just a foot race, and he's going to be out of bounds at about the 1-foot line.
And that'll be a first down and goal to go for Grand Ledge. They'll have 4 plays to get it inside 1 yard. Doesn't look good for Holt at this point in time. As you see, basically really just a foot race on the outside. He's on the outside, and he's just running for the flag. He's coming right into your view, right into the screen, and hey, almost takes out our cameraman there.
Earl, I got a little theme music right now at first and goal at the 1. Dun, 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 dun. It's mission impossible for Holt right now.
But they get a little help there. Maybe a little flag might be against Grand Ledge, maybe.
Could be a false start. Could go either way. I think they're going to measure half the distance, which is less than the length of a ruler.
Oh boy.
Forget it. I get dun 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 dun.
It's like the little kid trying to put the thumb in the dike in the dam to hold the water back.
Your mission, Mr. Phelps. Well, there's a little help. Okay.
So they get a little help here. They get a little help on that one, unless they say he was drawn offside.
Right. Hard to say. Both players moved. Maybe we should get Ringo Starr now and sing with a little help from my friends. But I don't think those two teams feel like friends right now at 28-14, early in the second half. And I think I've made my point. I promise I won't sing anymore. But honestly, mission impossible when Grand Ledge gets the ball inside the 5-yard line with the power eye. Here they go. Mike Ballou. Nice time he's hit behind the line.
Hey, good start here. Yep. No gain on this one, Ben. And I'll tell you, good penetration by this whole front line, as you see, stepping up. All the guys, they swarm very well to the ball. 3 players, Jeff Beard and others, in on the gang tackle that time.
Adam Veely and James Moreno also in on the tackle. So you're right, they did stop them on first down. Now it's second down and goal at the 5. Power I formation, this time to the right. No surprise, Mike Ballou just keeps hammering. He's down inside the 2. Down at about the 1-yard line. The ball may have popped loose. No signal from the officials.
I mean, he just kept grinding. It's like I've said on other broadcasts, Ben, if no one grabs you around the ankles, just keep those legs churning, because he looked like he could have been stopped on the 3-yard line. You'll see here he's hit up top. He just keeps running a good blocking. Hit up top again. He keeps churning those legs and takes it down to the 1-yard line.
Definitely 4-down territory, and Grand Ledge now with 2 chances to get a half a yard. They're in the power I coming to the left side. Ballou, touchdown, Grand Ledge.
And boy, scoring like this right off the bat here in the 3rd quarter just makes Holt's jobs a lot more difficult. And you'll see here on the replay, just simple, straight ahead power blocking. And he just gets in. Didn't get in by a big margin, just was able to get it in, get the score, which puts that margin again up to 3 touchdown lead for Grand Ledge.
And that's the 5th game in a row the Comets have scored at least 4 touchdowns, and now 5 touchdowns. And the extra point attempt by McKinnon, once again, as usual, is good.
His leg might be getting a little tired tonight, Ben. 5 extra points. Grand Ledge out to a commanding 35-14 lead at this point. But again, still plenty of time. And if Holt is to get back into this game, Ben, they must get a couple of turnovers from Grand Ledge.
Well, we've got 8:29 left in the 3rd quarter. Score 35-14. Let's take a look ahead at some other Media One sports coverage coming up. MSU women's volleyball. We've been talking about this, so stay tuned to your local Media One sports channel for MSU against Indiana, followed by MSU against Michigan a few days later. The next 2 matches for the MSU women's volleyball team. Then women's basketball right around the corner. Head coach Karen Langland, the dean of the Big Ten women's coaches, will take her team against Detroit on the 1st and Ohio on the 9th. Later on in the month of December, live coverage coverage. Notre Dame on the 21st and Ohio State on the 30th. And now we'll head down to the sidelines with Jolynn Thomas.
I'm with Davis, the Holt superintendent. Tom, how important are extracurricular activities?
Well, what we know about students who participate in extracurricular activities is they have higher GPAs and they really become the leaders in our society. So it's very important, and we really encourage all of our students to participate in some form or another of extracurricular kinds of things.
All right, thank you so much. That was Tom Davis, Holt superintendent. Now we're going to send it back to the game with Ben Stark and Earl Robinson.
Thank you, Jolynn, and again, thanks to the folks here at Holt. And look at Pat O'Keefe on the sidelines, Earl, with the big lead, but he's still fired up.
Exactly. Still into the game, still exhorting his players to do the right thing. Option play this time, Ben.
That's the play you like, Earl.
Like that option.
Option coming to the near side, Ryan Anderson. He didn't get much, but now here's a little bit too much from Jay Kuntoon on that play. Or whoever it was on, the Grand Ledge defense probably followed through a little too long, and that's going to be a personal foul charged against Grand Ledge.
And Holt needs a little help at this point in time. So, yeah, a little extracurricular, but again, they never stopped it. And, you know, this situation, Ben, where they may not have heard the whistle, in all honesty. They may not have heard it because both guys on both sides were still pushing, trying to go forward. The quarterback was trying to move. The defense was trying to make the stop. And they might not have just heard the whistle.
But it turns into a big gain for the Holt Rams, and we certainly don't want to count them out. They are a veteran team with decent size and very good speed. Great coach on the sidelines in Mike Smith, and they've got the ball now at their own 48-yard line.
And they've passed the ball effectively this evening.
This time they line up in the offset eye and give the ball to Kenny Day. He fights for yardage up the middle. Not much happening there.
I think they're going to have to open it up a little bit more, Ben. I mean, they've got a quarter and a half to go. They're trailing by 3 touchdowns. And, yes, you want to continue to keep the run going. They don't want to abandon it totally. But I think they're going to have to put the ball up in the air a little bit more now, trailing by 3 touchdowns. And they have had some success throwing the ball this evening.
The clock is not going to work in Holt's favor if they keep the ball on the ground. Michael Reich going out wide on the far side. Nick Wigington wide on the near side. Anderson looking to throw. He's got Reich. If he can not get, he didn't get the ball there. Reich made his, it was a down and out, and just couldn't get the ball there.
Now that's awful difficult when you're running to your opposite side, running to the left and throwing back right. It's much easier when you're running to the right and you can throw it to the right. But when you're running left like this and you're right-handed, you're throwing back across your body to the weak side, and it's hard to get a lot of zip on the ball. And if you notice, fans, he wasn't able to get a lot of zip on the ball because you have to stop and plant and then throw. And he didn't do that. He sort of threw on the run that time, and he wasn't able to get it to his receiver.
3rd down and 9 now. Trips on the left, shotgun formation, and jumping into the neutral zone is a Grand Ledge defensive lineman, so that's an automatic dead ball penalty and a 5-yard first down.
I don't blame Coach O'Keefe for being a little upset on that play, the 5-yard penalty. That changes what Holt has to do, because instead of being 3rd and 9 on a long pass, now they can probably change their formation. It's 3rd and 4. Be a little bit different play. They don't have to go as deep. They may throw to a running back out of the outfield, out of the backfield, that is, or maybe throw to the tight end. But they can run a little bit different play in this situation.
Wigington, Moreno, and Reich are wide. Trips on the far side. This is going to be a quick throw to Devin Lambert on the near side, and that should be good for a first down.
They wouldn't have been able to do that 3rd and 9, Ben. The 3rd and 4, yes, they were able to do that. Just throw a quick little out pattern. And as you see here in the replay, just throw it out. He just stepped over the line of scrimmage, and there was enough cushion on the defensive backs that he was able to pick up the first down pretty easily.
Clock will stay stopped at 7:14 here, so there is a lot of time. And it would be interesting, Earl, if Holt would make a commitment to this shotgun formation the rest of the game. Here's the draw play for Anderson, who's had good yardage off this play several times this year, and there's another 9-yard run.
I got a feeling they will. I think they will. Nice hole opened up on the left side, and Anderson ran right through it. As you see, good blocking by the guard and tackle for Holt, and he just zips through the hole and picks up a very nice gain, pretty close to a first down. 9 yards he picked up on that one, so leaving it 2nd and 1. And you can do a lot of things 2nd and 1. You can go deep, you can throw a slant, you can just make the basic run, get the first down. It's a nice position to be in at 2nd and 1.
Nick Wigington and Bill Burmeister are wide in the double wing set, but it's a give to Devin Lambert. Look at Jake Huntoon, though, just firing through, showing his Division I college skills for next year. and making a tackle in the backfield.
Very good play by Huntoon, as you see. He just shoots the gap again. He's done that on several occasions, and throwing him for at least a 1-yard loss. And Huntoon, as you said, been excellent linebacker, great skills, and we might see him playing on Saturday somewhere next year on the Division I level.
Huntoon is 6'1" and 230. He bench presses 330 pounds, and he runs a 4.9 40, and he's still in high school. Deep handoff to Kenny Day, who's trying to turn the corner again, makes a nice cut up field. Kenny Day always seems to get the most that he possibly can out of those plays.
And Day gets the first down, Ben. Holt needed that first down. Kenny Day running hard, as you'll see, coming off the right side, the deep handoff, and Day just looking for some running room. That's all he's doing. He cuts up into the seam, a couple of missed tackles, but Day running hard, gets the first down for Holt, keeps the drive alive, and Holt, once again, Holt really needs to score in this situation. They're on the 26-yard line of Grand Ledge and have been moving the ball pretty effectively.
Most of the key players for Holt are seniors, and they do not want their season to end here tonight and their careers to be over for high school. Michael Reich, now he's got some running room to the outside, and he just can't quite get around the first man to beat, and that was Eric Esper on the tackle.
But they pick up 5 yards on the counter, which isn't a bad gain. If he could have gotten around Esper there, he might have went all the way. He's really running hard. Matter of fact, he outruns his blocking a little bit, but in that case, if he could have gotten around, boy, he would have taken it a long way down that left sideline. But again, Holt driving, and now they're not that far away from pay dirt, Ben.
2nd down and 4. That's Lambert in motion. The pitch is to Kenny Day, trying to use that outside speed and slashing upfield across the 20 to about the 18-yard line.
And 3rd down and about 3 now for Holt. And you'll see on the replay again a sweep. Grand Ledge does a great job of stringing this out, and that's what you want to do as a defense, stringing out. Don't let that running back turn the corner, because most of the time, if the running back turns the corner in a sweep, he gets a very, very nice gain. Good job by the Grand Ledge defense, preventing Kenny Day from getting outside.
Clock continuing to run now. Holt moves to the wishbone backfield. The give is to Devin Lambert, crossing the 15 down to, well, he's down at the 15, and that's going to be a 1st down.
They're moving the ball, but unfortunately, Ben, they're using up a lot of time on the clock. And now they're down to 4 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. So even if they score here, I think when they get the ball back again, they're really going to have to commit to that passing game.
Or has to come first as Holt sets up in the double wing with the double tight end. Tough formation to figure out. And it's going to be Anderson on the option. Oh, there's Jake Huntoon. Forget it. Jake Huntoon with another tackle. Huntoon last year, his biggest game of the season last year, 21 tackles against East Lansing in one of the classic games that has been played in high school football in this decade around here. We can just go on talking about this Jake Huntoon over and over. You know, you look for a number of different things, Earl, that a team would need to be successful and make a postseason run. Grand Ledge seems to have just about everything.
They've got power, they've got speed, they've got a good defense, good defensive line, good offensive line, good linebackers. They really have a very solid football team.
Holt now going to the offset eye, and Kenny Day getting a lot of attention in the backfield. He struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage.
And we'll probably see the 5 wideouts, 3 trips on the next play. As you see, not much running room for Kenny Day, and the reason why, good penetration. That time the linebackers for Grand Ledge shooting the gaps, getting in. Good penetration by the Grand Ledge linebackers. That's 42. That's Justin Mullins on the outside backer making the play on that one.
Okay, back to the shotgun formation with trips right. It's Reich, Moreno, and Wigington. Anderson rolling that direction. He's got a man inside the 5-yard line. It's Mike Moreno with James Moreno with a big catch for a 1st and goal situation for Holt.
Big play. The quarterback rolls right. They needed that 1st down. He rolls right and catches it right in the seam between the 2 defenders. Good catch, good throw by Holt, and now they're in scoring position on the 3-yard line, 1st and goal. And now if they can get the ball in quickly, you know, they're still definitely in this ball game, Ben.
1st and goal at the 3. The give to Day up the middle. He's not going to get it that way.
No, they may have to go to the air. I mean, this drive is taking it up and it's consumed a lot of time. for Holt. Ben, I think when they got the ball, it was about 8 minutes on the clock, and this drive has consumed about 6 minutes thus far. So they need to score quickly here before the third quarter runs out.
Too much middle linebacker with Nate Williams and Jay Kuntoon, and too much run support from the free safety Eric Esper and his brother Chad Esper, John McLeod. The outside linebackers Mullins and Jensen. 2nd and 4. Clock running down to 2 minutes in the third quarter. Holt is trailing by 3 touchdowns, and they desperately need a score. Anderson up the middle. Not going to get it that way.
Nope, I think they're going to have to go to that trip set. And we'll see that Grand Ledge defensive line holding up strong. They got a good push, though, that time. They got a good push. But what happened, the linebacker came around on the outside a little bit and made the stop. But the offensive line got a good push that time up front for Holt. And now, big play. 3rd and 2, even though this is 2-down territory, no question, Ben, they will go for the touchdown. 2 more tries to get it.
Wishbone backfield. 3rd and goal at the 2. To give, where is it? Oh, look at it, Devin Lambert. He gets across. I think he got across. Oh, they're not going to mark him down. Oh, boy.
They're marking that his knees hit the ground first before he got in the end zone. That's what they're going to see, and I think we'll be able to see this in the replay, that his knees actually hit the ground. He was hit here first, spun, and as you see, it was close.
I don't know, Earl. I'm calling that one a touchdown.
Yeah,
he dove across. I would not mind taking another look at that. Not that because it's a close game yet, but if Holt were to be stopped on this play, we're going to get this a second time, and I'm going to say watch him dive across. Devin Lambert will be airborne when the ball crosses the plane.
Watch him dive across, Ben, but also look at where his knee. He spins, he dives, but he's right there parallel to the line. He might have been over, but his one knee was on one side, and maybe the ball got over there, but if that knee lands.
I'm voting touchdown on that one. I think he made it. If we had if we had 17 different angles to replay here, we could find the one that showed it. And which happens a lot, when you see him pro and college, you have to find that one angle. I contend he scored, but on the other hand, the officials are right there, and after all, the ball's being spotted now on about the 3-inch line. 4th and goal coming up, and while we wait for this big play, let's raise a salute to some of the great players in this game who get good grades as well. Brian Sheen for Grand Ledge, a 4.0 grade point, and Tim Parks for Holt, 3.89. Congratulations to those young men. 4th and goal now. Right across goes Ryan Anderson, and that is a touchdown.
Okay, and they needed that score, but they ate up a lot of time off that clock, I'll tell you. And now we'll get a chance to see the replay. And Ryan Anderson, simple quarterback sneak, just followed that outstanding offensive line in. And just a great job by our crew doing the replays for us tonight, Ben.
Absolutely. And now in to kick the extra point is Mike Moreno, the younger of the Moreno brothers. We've seen a lot of James Moreno, the junior, who's played defensive back and comes in on offense. It's a high snap. Oh, and okay, that ball was blocked.
Boy, that can hurt. Now they're going to have to go, if they get back into position, they'll have to go for 2 points at some time. So, unfortunately, a missed or a blocked field goal, which is good for Grand Ledge, but bad for Holt.
Right, 35-20 with just under a minute left to play. Let's take a look ahead. Hey, we may have a playoff game next week, but either way, we've got volleyball this weekend and next week. Sunday, November 1st is the playtime for MSU versus Indiana. A very good, perhaps a great women's volleyball team and program over at Michigan State. And what about Jam Jennison night next week? And we'll replay that one against Michigan on Saturday, November 7th, 7 p.m. These are the Lansing Media One Sports Channel playtimes. In December, we've got MSU women's basketball coming up Tuesday, December 1st against Detroit, Wednesday, December 9th against Ohio University, and then on December 21st, Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish will come to Breslin, where the Spartans should lay a licking on them, and that'll be fun to watch. And then December 30th, we've got 9 games all together. Women's basketball coming up this season on Media One Sports. Hey, there's a pretty good kickoff right there, down to the 1-yard line, and a pretty good return coming back, and that was at Dan Walker out to about the 25-yard line.
Joe Durfee on the stop, back in and made a hit. He made the hit early in the first, and good play.
Right, Joe Durfee, good to see him back in the game. That's number 87 on your screen. The young man who, there he is again. You're absolutely right.
Made a good stop. Excellent hit, stuck him. And now again, the Holt defense needs to come to the forefront. Try to stop this great Grand Ledge machine. I tell you, we're going to have to give some credit also to this Grand Ledge offensive line too, Ben.
Durfee, one of the many seniors on the Holt team this year. And that's Joe Wolscheid for Grand Ledge, who's a sophomore catching the ball and being tackled immediately by James Moreno. And Holt certainly needs a 3-and-out here to stay in the ball game. They do not want to and they cannot afford to let Grand Ledge possess the ball and chew the clock.
5 yards on that one, as they've had an outstanding passing game. Some of the members of that Grand Ledge offensive line: Andy Brown, 61, Brian Cheney, 65, Greg Miller, 60, Andy Eisler, 50, and Skip Mendoza, 79.
Dusty Dye in motion. The give is to Ballou, the reliable running back for Grand Ledge, a junior, following in the footsteps of Matt O'Connor last year, who set all kinds of records coming out of the Grand Ledge backfield, not the least of which was a 53 carry game last year.
And just watching this Grand Ledge line go to work is just pure pleasure. Another first down, as they are just being able, and they have been able to move that whole defensive line around most of the night. You win football games, Ben, by controlling the line of scrimmage, and that's what Grand Ledge is doing.
And that's the last play of the third quarter. Our score is Grand Ledge 35 and Holt 20. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the fourth quarter in just a moment.
Kinder than necessary. Be modest. Parents, teach your kids good sportsmanship. Parents, practice good sportsmanship. Act like you're the only fan in the stands. Lose without excuses. Be a good loser. Be a good winner. Be a team player. Sportsmanship begins at home.
Today's coverage of Capital Area football is brought to you by The Car Shop, your local Napa Auto Care Center, Delhi Rental Center in the Holt Plaza, Hungry Howie's in Holt and Grand Ledge, Golden Apple, downtown Grand Ledge, books and gifts for everyone, and Frankie D's Auto and Truck Repair, serving Holt for 15 years.
First down and 10 for Grand Ledge to begin the fourth quarter. And another 5-yard run for Mike Ballou.
And following left guard Brian Chin on that one, and Chin really doing an outstanding job tonight. This whole Grand Ledge offensive line, very impressive, Ben, as we said. Average weight about 270 pounds, and they are not a big, slow offensive line, but they are big, they're quick, very agile, move around quite well, do a great job of blocking, and it's very, very tough on Holt to try to get some penetration to slow down this Grand Ledge running game.
Second down and 4 at the 40-yard line. Dusty Dye in motion. The give is to Ballou. Uh-oh, he may have, if he can turn this corner. Oh, he's going to get thrown down again from behind, and there he is, Joe Durfee, the young man who was laying motionless for almost 2 minutes after a kick play in the first half, and really threw a scare into the crowd, but he seems to be coming out at full strength.
But he got the first down. I mean, they were able to, here you see on the outside, as Mike Ballou trying to turn the corner, but Durfee grabs him from behind, throws him down, but not before Grand Ledge gets the first down, which keeps the clock moving for Grand Ledge.
Great play by Joe Durfee, but another good run by Ballou, who is certainly over 1,400 yards at this point of the season. Here he comes up the middle. He gets yardage every way you can ask, Curl. He gets the hard ones. He gets the really been impressive here tonight.
Exactly. And now Grand Ledge moving the ball. They'll still probably pass if they have to, but Ben, they're going to try to keep the ball on the ground. If they pass, they want to keep it in the middle of the field. Don't want their receivers or ball carriers to go out of bounds. Keep that clock moving with a 15-point lead at this point in time. They can need a lot of time off the clock in this drive.
Dusty Dye in motion. Ballou, again, getting good yardage, very close to a first down. And Earl, you know, they're going to have to draw in. The whole defense is going to have to draw in to try and stack the line against these runs, because you're absolutely right. They can just power run the rest of the game. They don't even have to score, obviously. And now it looks like a timeout being called by Holt.
And here you're seeing good blocking again. Slips through the hole, picks up about 5 yards, leaving it about 3rd and 1. And yes, they're going to have to sell out for the run. You can see the Holt coach Mike Smith imploring his team to stop them at the line of scrimmage, and they're going to commit to the run. And if they do that, if they do really commit to the run, which they may have to at this point in the game, you can probably see Grand Ledge going up top for a score, because when you're trailing by 15 and you know the other team's going to run the ball, we'll see those 8- and 9-man fronts. And we see a certain college team in this area who sees a lot of 8- and 9-man fronts, and it's very hard to run against an 8- or 9-man front, Ben.
When you know the guy's coming, it's hard to keep doing that. But let's just take a sneak peek ahead and see if, this game is not over, of course. Holt could still come back and score 15 points in 10 minutes. But if you're taking a look at Grand Ledge as a playoff team, and we sort of go through a checklist of what would a team need in order to succeed in the postseason. And we'll run this play here on 3rd and 2, and then we'll get back to this point. A power I formation left. Ballou, first down, Grand Ledge. Let's just run through this here, Earl. What would you need to succeed in the postseason? I'll ask it in question form, and Grand Ledge will be the team to answer. Do they have a fullback?
Yes, they have a fullback. Dusty Dye, good fullback who can run and block.
Do they have a tailback?
Yes, they have a tailback in Mike Ballou, and he has good speed.
Do they have an offensive line?
An excellent offensive line.
Do they have a tall receiver?
Yes, they've got a tall receiver and who can do some serious damage.
Do they have linebackers?
They've got very active linebackers.
Do they have a defensive backfield?
They've got a defensive backfield. They don't have to make a lot of plays.
Uh-oh. Wolscheid thrown right over his head. That was he's the big receiver, by the way, we were talking about. He's 6'6" and 207. And, of course, Coleman at the tight end, the possession receiver. And, of course, Snelling, they threw downfield deep to him already tonight. Do they have a kicker?
Yes, they have a kicker.
Pat McKinnon, who's setting records with his kicking. How's the coaching staff?
Good coaching staff. They do a good job of preparing their team and having them ready to play each week and having them fired up and have an excellent game plan.
So perhaps the overlooked area on the Grand Ledge team, maybe the defensive line, doesn't get as much attention, or hasn't been able to really show up as the outstanding unit in the team, and yet the defensive tackle, Mark McAnally, is the one that ran down Kenny Day on that breakaway run in the first half. That's tremendous speed at the defensive tackle position.
Exactly, and they've got great defensive ends. I mean, Stump McLean has 10 sacks, and Bill Barnes has 11 sacks, so they really pinch on the defensive ends. And like you say, with McAnally having good speed at the tackle, they're very active. 4 linebackers, very active as well.
3rd down and 7. This is Ballou. Looking for running room, and he looks like he's got another first down.
And at least he stepped out of bounds, which has stopped the clock this time. But again, they're running the ball well against Holt. And let's face it, Holt's probably tiring a little bit at this point in the game, Ben. The defense has been out on the field a long time. And it does tend to have a tendency to wear you down at this point in the game with 9 minutes left in the 4th quarter, as you see. Good blocking, and Mike Ballou just power running to the outside on that last play. They're not going to put the ball in the air very often now. They've got the momentum going, and that big offensive line is really creating some holes for Ballou to run through.
1st down and 10. Just over 9 minutes to play as Dusty Dye is back in motion. And guess who? Mike Ballou. I see, he doesn't go down easy.
No.
He could have gone down after 3 yards, but he kept spinning.
And see, at this point, I think you'll see it on this replay as well, Ben. Holt now, they need a turnover. They're starting to grab for the ball, not really going for the legs. You see, grabbing for the ball. They're trying to rip it out of Ballou's hands. He holds on to it with both hands. Good job of covering up, but that also entails Ballou to pick up a few more yards.
And here's another question about Grand Ledge. Do they have a 300-pound right tackle?
Yes, they've got a 300-pound right tackle, but you know, it almost doesn't matter because they run right or left. They run effectively to either side.
Talking, of course, about Skip Mendoza, number 79 for Grand Ledge. Huge young man, 300 pounds, very wide, and he's on the backside of this play.
Yes. This one went off the left side and went right around the corner, and Mike Ballou running hard, getting good blocking. And as we've seen, Ben, they're trying to stop the run. They're not having much success. Grand Ledge in the red zone, inside the 5-yard line, knocking on the door again.
Nate Williams, the power fullback on the power I formation to the left. Sort of obvious this time, and Holt a good team and a senior-dominated team, so they were able to chase down Ballou on that one.
And they stop Ballou. He picks up a couple of yards going outside. They're running out of that power eye, which has been very effective for them tonight. But Holt able to come through, make the play that time. And again, we'll see Grand Ledge just try to punch it in, Ben, and You know, they're second down and 3 yards to go for another touchdown.
I said I wasn't going to sing again, but if I was, you know what song it would be. Mission Impossible. Cannot stop Grand Ledge. Goal to go inside the 5-yard line with the power I formation. This time Ballou is short by about a foot, it looks like. It's going to be 3rd down and goal from the foot line.
And they just ran it straight up the middle. Ballou following his blockers into the line. Nice hole again created by the Grand Ledge offensive line, and now we'll see if Ballou can take it in.
And he does. Touchdown, Grand Ledge. Boy, it's like a clinic. They've just put on a clinic again here tonight as they've gone over 40 points. That is their 6th touchdown of the evening, making the score 41-20. And that is Mike Ballou's, I believe, I say it's his 3rd or 4th touchdown tonight.
I think third, at least 3rd touchdown.
At least 3rd. That would be 25 for the year. Again, a reminder, brace yourselves, folks, in the CAC. He is a junior, and every player on the offensive line is a junior except for Andy Brown, who will be graduating, although he was out for a few weeks and he had been replaced by Jason Schmidt, and they won every game they played, so didn't seem to make much difference. And there's McKinnon. I guess the good news for the rest of the CAC is that McKinnon is a senior.
So you're trying to say, Ben, that Grand Ledge is going to be real tough again next year? Is that what you're trying to say, Ben? They've got all these players coming back, and you're trying to hint that Grand Ledge is going to be the team to beat next year, Ben?
You just want me to come out and say it, huh? Is that a, yeah. Yeah, well, that's, I mean, you know, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in high school football. They have that many players on this good a team come back.
And
Not
they
very
do
often.
quite a few.
Well, 7:27 remaining in this game. We're going to go down to the Troost Field sidelines and hear from Emily Wagner.
I'm here with Nick Johnson, Vice President of the Holt Rams Victory Club. Nick, tell us about some of the additions that have gone on this year so far.
Well, basically this year we put a 25-foot addition onto the field house here at Troost Field, and what we'd like to do in the future is have a brick patio with signature names on the bricks. And if you're interested in that, you can reach me or anyone at my office at 517-694-3411. And we'd like to have a patio area where we could have pregame get-togethers with the parents.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Back to the action on the field.
And we've got a rugby scrum out there on the kick return. The ball is finally down at the 25-yard line. And, oh, and look at that. Grand Ledge has picked up the ball.
Amazing.
I didn't see it that way.
I didn't either. I saw Joe Durfee fumble, and I thought the Holt player, number 1, fell on the ball. Let's see this again. Derek's kicked out, and it looks like well, I guess he didn't fall on it. It slid. His body fell on it, but it's just squirmed out from under him, and Grand Ledge gets the recovery. And, well, just not Holt's night tonight, Ben. Just one of those days, one of those times, as they say, when nothing goes right, and it hasn't gone right for the Holt Rams tonight.
It looked like it may have been Eric Esper who picked up that loose ball. 1st down and 10 now for Holt. Once again, outstanding field position, and I think we've probably seen the last of Mike Ballou as Dan Walker comes into the game now. And Dan Walker is a senior, smaller running back, 5'7", 175, so he ran behind O'Connor last year. He's running behind Ballou this year, but looks like he's probably going to finish off this game.
And, you know, it's going to be a good chance for some of the seniors who haven't played all year will probably get a chance to play now for Grand Ledge, who haven't gotten into the game. You can expect some of those guys who worked hard in practice all year and get a little playing time, which is nice. It looks like a lot of clean uniforms out there for Grand Ledge.
Yeah, that's true. The bench is being emptied. Ryan Mooney is coming in to play quarterback as Grand Ledge calls a timeout.
And that's good because kids work all year long to play, and sometimes because of the situations of certain games, Ben, you can't get some of the kids in, but they work hard all year long. They come to practice. Sure, some of the kids aren't 1st or 2nd string. They don't get a chance to get in, but this is an opportunity for those young men to get a chance to get some playing time in the final home game or the final game of the season. Final home game for Holden. I'm quite sure Holt's coach Mike Smith is going to get many of his young men in who haven't had an opportunity to play most of the year, because that's always special for the seniors to get a chance to play for guys who've worked hard all year long and they'll get a chance to get a shot, get a few plays in, and that's something that they will always remember and carry with them, that they had a chance to play in a few games, and maybe this might be the only game for some of those young men to play in.
Ryan Mooney, it's an entirely different backfield and lineup for Grand Ledge. Ryan Mooney is going to give to Walker, and Walker trying to break through and gets good yardage off the right side.
And again, this Grand Ledge young line is still blocking well. A lot of young, different faces in here now, but they're doing well, and they're blocking quite well. That was number 22 for Grand Ledge on the run, Dan Walker, 5'7", 175 pounds. Ben moved pretty good.
Unfortunately for Holt, as Mike Smith leaves all his seniors in here, knowing it's their last game of their high school career, they're going to be playing against some fresh young players who are going to be very excited about getting into the end zone, and they're very close with this field position. But meantime, let's give a little credit to these Holt High School seniors who are wrapping up their careers here at Holt High School tonight. Devin Lambert, a senior, he had a great game last week and very solid again tonight. Keith Allen will not get to play again. He had to sit out tonight because of the concussion last week. Great ball player. Chad Ranshaw, Ryan Anderson, the quarterback, Michael Reich, who is still on the field right now, as it is 3rd and 7 for Grand Ledge. And Mooney is going to give to the new fullback, and that's Gary Berquist. He's going to be short. Other seniors for Holt, Chris Guardiola, Kenny Day, who's been a big player all season long, Scott Leroy, Justin Fuller, Jim Parks, Brandon Cooper, Adam Veely, he's been in on some plays, Jared Mowers, Tom Shaver, Corey Babbitt, Troy Smith, Scott Steibel, Cullen Ganas. It's 4th down and 7, and Grand Ledge will go ahead and run another play. Mooney dropping back, looking downfield and complete, and that is a 1st down on a pass to Berquist, and in fact he scores.
And if there was any doubt that this game is over, I think that has definitely been ended now, as Grand Ledge is just putting the hammer to Holt this evening. As you see, good pass out in the flat over the outstretched hands of the defensive end, and he just runs it in from there. You know, Grand Ledge controlled the ball on the ground through the air, and I think they just basically sort of worn down this whole defense, which is really a good defense and has played well most of the year. But Grand Ledge just too much. They are building momentum now, getting ready for their first playoff game next week. And Ben, I think we have to say that Grand Ledge definitely has an honest shot at winning the state championship this year.
You would have to think so, although there are people in Rockford who may feel otherwise. Grand Ledge area very proud of their 2 teams, and there's number 38 in a row for Ryan McKinnon. He has hit everything they've given him a chance. 7 in a row tonight. He came in with a streak of 31 in a row, 38 extra points in a row. Very reliable for a high school kicker. And we've got 5 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in this game. It's 49-20. It's a blowout. And Grand Ledge is going to win this game, and Holt's going to finish up at 6-3, so it's still a step upwards for the Holt Rams football team, but they lose a lot of seniors. Let's go down to the sidelines now with Jolynn Thomas.
I'm with Neil Ossoff, president of Holt's Athletic Booster Club. Neil, how about promotions?
Well, right now we have a promotion going with Granger Container that if you sign up for a year's program, that the Booster Club receives 1 month of, 1 month cash from the service, basically about $15. And I think we're going to do very well with that because we have a lot of support in the community, and they're really broadening the service base for them. So I think we're going to do very well because we do have a lot of support, and people really want to help us out. So if people get an opportunity, call Granger Container, sign up for your service, and we get 1 month of the cash basically for it.
Okay, thanks. All right, that was Neil Ossoff. Now back to the game with Ben Stark and Earl Robinson.
Thanks, Jolynn. Adam Veely there, one of the seniors on the return. And Earl, I got to figure all the seniors are coming into the game now. Some of the others that are finishing up after this night. Cedric Ford, the big lineman for Holt. Jeff Beard, he's played a lot. Grant Sarkisian, a starter. Bill Burmeister, Nick Wigington, and Joe Durfee, Jeff Montgomery, and Paul Belcito. That is a lot of seniors for one ball club.
Yes, it is, and a lot of them are going to get to play as they're putting out, some of the new players, and it's safe to assume, I think, that they're going to put the ball in the air, try to get another score or two if at all possible. Still 4 or 5 minutes left in this game. so they definitely will try to score a few more points, see if they can get something going here late in the game. But Grand Ledge, just an outstanding young football team, and so is Holt. Holt will more than likely finish the season at 6-3, which is a good record.
5:07 to play. Don't forget, we may have a playoff game next week. We'd like to do it, but don't forget, we've got MSU women's volleyball right around the corner, and one of the finest athletes in America, Jenna Roble, the senior volleyball player for Michigan State. You will want to watch this young lady play. She has set the MSU record for kills. That's the same as points in volleyball a couple of weeks ago, and she will be extending that record, trying for the Big Ten record. Games against Indiana and Michigan coming up on Media One Sports. And then Karen Langland, the dean of the Big Ten on the women's side. She's been coaching longer than any Big Ten coach except for Bobby Knight at Indiana, but longest of any women's coach. Detroit and Ohio University on the schedule, and then later on Notre Dame and Ohio State. We'll be carrying those games live on Media One Sports. Double wing formation, and we've got all new players in, so bear with us as we sort of check the numbers and make sure we get everybody right. James Moreno has moved to quarterback now for the Rams, and the ball carrier was Travis Card.
5'9", about 150, and picked up a couple of yards that time, and they're going to try to do a few things here, Ben, experiment a little bit, still try to score if at all possible against this very active Grand Ledge defense. But as you said, a lot of new players in at this point in the game, but yet, you know, players always want to score, so obviously Holt will try to get into the end zone.
And you got to figure a lot of reserves in for Grand Ledge as well, so, well, it'll be a opportunity to get the kids to play a little bit. This one is, I think that was that Parks or Cooper?
I think 44, I think that was Chad Cleese who made the run, big for number 44 that time, and picked up a nice game.
Hey, one comment too, Earl. The score is 49-20, but Grand Ledge did not run up the score tonight.
No, they didn't.
They just were unstoppable.
Yes, and any team that runs the ball like that with a great offensive line, it's hard to stop them, that's for sure. So, no, they definitely did not run up the scores. Yep, and no punts, Ben, surprisingly, one of those rare games where we had no punts from either side.
Marino with a pitch, and that ball was laid on the turf, and it was Chris Guardiola who had to pick it up and get swarmed after about a 7 or 8 yard loss.
Tried to get a little bit of running room, tried to get a few yards with it, but again, running the option on this time. He pitches, as you saw, the defensive end was right there in on him, and he tried to pick it up, and he did, but just wasn't able to do anything with it, as that Grand Ledge defense was just all over him.
And so it's 4th and 10, and we have not had a punt yet tonight. But
Until then.
But now, well, we'll wait and see.
Well, we'll wait. That's right. We better wait and see.
Ryan Anderson is set up at the punt position, and he needs the quarterback, and he does. Goes ahead and just kicks it away. And a fair catch signaled and caught. And that was John Stovall. Nope. Check that. It was Lucas Way making the catch for Grand Ledge. The Comets with 54 players on their roster. And they've emptied the bench here with a 49-20 lead. I was going to say, you know, because they did not run the score up. They just came out and they had 3 quick touchdowns. Now, here's a funny way of looking at it. But if you take away those first 3 touchdowns and you take away the last touchdown and you give Holt that extra point, it's a tie game. And that, of course, sounds almost stupid in a way, but it's just that Grand Ledge scored too quickly. They had the 2 interceptions.
They really did.
I mean, you know, it can happen differently.
Yeah.
But the way it happened, those 2 interceptions in the first quarter stopped Holt twice and gave Grand Ledge the ball where they're virtually unstoppable. And, of course, they've converted, as you know, saying no punts, no field goals. That means Grand Ledge has scored a touchdown in every series.
Yes, they just weren't able to stop them. And then, like you said, the 2 turnovers gave Grand Ledge great field position. They were to take it in for basically 2 easy scores because, as you said, you just can't give a team this good as Grand Ledge a great field position. And so those 2 touchdowns really helped give Grand Ledge a lot of momentum early in the game.
2nd down and 7, just over 3 minutes to play. Ryan Mooney is the quarterback for the Comets. An imbalanced I formation, give up the middle to Walker. Not much happening there. And I think we're just going to run the ball a few more times and then call it a night.
But it really looks like that. They're going to try to run. Maybe if they can get a 1st down or 2, you know, and continue to eat that clock up and just run it out until the game is over. But, you know, we can give early congratulations to Grand Ledge and good luck to them in the playoffs, and congratulate Holt for having a very good season.
Right. Holt will finish at 6-3, and that's their first winning season since 1995. So Mike Smith getting back on the winning track here, although, again, he loses so many players. Always difficult in high school football when you have to replace that many players in 1 year.
And another first down for Grand Ledge. They keep rolling and keep that clock rolling, Ben, and that's what you want to do in this situation.
That was Brandon Rios for the Comets. And this is exactly what, well, go ahead. That's Brandon Rios running to the outside. It's the same play we've seen. I mean, Ballou's been running that. Now it's Brandon Rios. Dan Walker might be running it the next time. But this is exactly what Grand Ledge wanted to do to take them into the playoffs, to be able to empty their bench at the end, to have a big win, secure, apparently, home field advantage, which can be very important in the playoffs. And no way of knowing who they'll be playing against next week. We've been watching those two great teams in the Grand Rapids area, Jenison and Rockford. And we have no way of knowing who's going to play who. But apparently Rockford and Grand Ledge will each have home field advantage.
Well, if those teams that they may play had scouts here tonight, they'll be very impressive with what they've seen from Grand Ledge.
This is Rios again struggling for yardage, but not much there. Clock now under 2 minutes to play. We went through that checklist, and you think about what you would need to get a team to advance into postseason action and on through the playoffs, and boy, they just seem to have a little bit of everything.
And one key thing that we didn't mention, Ben, what they've done in this game, they have not turned the ball over.
That's an excellent point, because any team can lose games with turnovers. 3rd and 12, we're at about 1:20 to go. And see these kids coming off the bench still really playing hard, both sides of the ball.
Yes, playing hard, and I can relate to that, Ben, because in my day when I played football, I had to come off the bench in the 4th quarter. The game was out of hand. But, hey, I was in there playing hard because I didn't get too many chances to play in the game, and because I was, I think, about a 3rd-string tailback. So when you're 3rd-string tailback, you don't get too much action during the season, Ben.
Well, there you have it. Little review on Earl's football career in high school. I understand you're pretty fast, though.
I was quick. Unfortunately for me and for some of the guys on our team that were pretty quick, our offensive line at that time became the head coach from my junior to senior year, and he believed in playing big players. And we had a 235-pound fullback and a 225-pound halfback. And we had some speedy guys, myself, one of the quicker guys sitting on the bench because he just believed in bigger was better, and he played a lot of big guys. And, you know, that was just the way it was. And so myself and some other guys who were pretty quick didn't get a lot of playing time our senior year.
And that was back before the invention of the forward pass, I think.
There
right?
You go. Leather helmets.
Well, there's a kick block and a chance for Holt to finish off with a little bit of a flurry. That kick was blocked by, looked like Wigington, was it? Wigington and Tom Shaver got the block.
Yeah, that's what happens, Ben. You have those inexperienced players, you know, players who haven't had a lot of playing time. You see, they were able to get in and make the block. But that happens when the young guys who haven't played a lot get in the game, whether it's the offensive lineman and the defense.
Well, we may have found the one weakness on the Grand Ledge team.
Maybe that punt block team, huh?
They just don't wind up punting very much. And so if you can get them to punt, that's what you need. Moreno now will wrap things up with the last minute of play here. Throwing for the end zone, and why not? Downfield and almost complete. The intended receiver was Chad Ranshaw.
Almost got the score. Very good throw, but just out of his reach. Very good route run, running to the flag, to the corner. That's to the flag, the little, as you see, the red or orange
the pylon
at the back. We used to call them flags in our day. See, we put them flags in the end zone. They didn't have pylons when I was playing.
Oh, sir, they used to be flags. Yeah, back in Earl's day. Yeah, I'll tell you. 26 seconds to go. Moreno, the quarterback, and going to drop back. Nope, looks like the quarterback draw or the option. And now I guess that's probably going to be the last play of the game. No need to call a timeout with 17 seconds left. That ought to do it here at Truist Field at Holt High School as Grand Ledge has come in and made a statement. And boy, would the Comets like to play East Lansing tonight.
Yes, they would.
But they will not get that chance this year. That's the ball game. Grand Ledge wins 49-20. Comets are jubilant. We'll be back for the post-game show in just a moment.
Football, a special production of Media One Sports. We hope to be back next week with coverage of a local playoff game in mid-Michigan. But to do so, we need your support. If your team has qualified for the Michigan High School playoffs and you'd like to see your team on Media One, call our sales office at 394-9164. Watch your team in the postseason on Media One Sports and help support Capital Area football.
It makes life safer to have rules.
Yeah, if you didn't have rules, someone would get hurt. You shouldn't make noise on the bus because sometimes the bus driver, he needs his ears to hear everything. Like when you have to stop by the train tracks. Yeah.
You shouldn't stay too close to the curb, otherwise you could get flattened or something.
You should walk at least 10 feet away from the bus so you can see the driver and the driver can see you.
It's very cool to follow the rules.
It's great and straight.
Last year was the season to remember, then this year is the season to look forward to. With returning Hobie finalist Mike York, defensive dynamo Mike Weaver, and sophomore sensations Rustin Dolany and Joey Blackburn, the Spartans will be the team to beat as they defend their CCHA title. Don't miss a minute of the action. Spartan Hockey on Media One Sports. The puck stops here.
Welcome back to our post-game show at Holt High School, where the Grand Ledge Comets have made a statement, getting ready for the postseason with a big 49-20 win over the Holt Rams.
Impressive win for Grand Ledge tonight, giving them even more momentum than what they needed to going in the playoffs, and this team is really, really stoked for the playoffs.
And time to hear from the winning coach. We'll go down to the field with Jolynn Thomas and Pat O'Keefe.
I'm with Grand Ledge coach Pat O'Keefe. Big victory tonight. How about your players?
Well, I'm proud of them, the way they played, and come over here and beat an excellent whole team was a great effort on the part of all of our kids. I'm proud of them.
How about the Holt Rams?
Well, the Holt Rams and Coach Smith have an excellent program, and the CAC is always the premier league in the state as far as I'm concerned, and I take my hat off to them, and they gave us a great battle.
Looking ahead a little bit, what about the playoffs coming up?
Well, playoffs will have to, it looks like Rockford was in first place. They're down by 20 points in the fourth quarter, and Jennison's losing in the fourth quarter, so it's going to be probably a long evening for the old coach.
How will you prepare for the playoffs?
Well, the same way that you always prepare for everything, and that's fundamentals are number one, and then obviously we have to see what our opponents do and what they run.
All right, well, thanks and congratulations again on a great victory tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, that was Pat O'Keefe, the coach of the Grand Ledge team, and we're going to send it back up to Ben Stark and Earl Robinson.
Thank you, Jolynn Thomas, and we're about to see a Grand Ledge Comet highlight tape here on the post-game show as we watch all 49 points, beginning with this touchdown pass to John Coleman.
I tell you, he catches it out in the flat, and the big guy for a tight end runs pretty good, Ben, and he just barrels into the end zone, the first score for Grand Ledge.
Coleman is 6'4" and 235, and Earl, that's an example of what I'm talking about, the size matchups that Grand Ledge presents to any team is equivalent. Again, you could play a college if you were 6'5" and 235 at the tight end.
Exactly, and especially one that has speed. We've seen a lot of tight ends that are big and slow, but he has good speed. And here we're getting ready to see the second replay again. And another pass play. This one to a receiver. I mean, this one was just a deep pass. He threw this one as long and as far as he could. And the receiver on the play, Ben, makes a very nice reception, and that's Jacob Snelling.
And Jacob Snelling, 5'10", 165, is more what you'd expect for high school size. Brad Lundquist, the quarterback who made that great pass, 6 foot and 175. That made the score 14-0, just like that. It happened very quickly in the first quarter, and keyed by a couple of interceptions. Just really unfortunate. I mean, they were good plays by the Grand Ledge defenders, but just before you knew it, it was 14-0, and that wasn't all. Here came the Comets again.
And here we have a running play, and Big Ballou coming off the left side and just running for that pylon. Great stiff arm, and as he outraces the Holt defenders to the end zone.
And that made it 21-0. You're looking at a Grand Ledge victory party on Holt High School's field. Not what the kids like to see, the opposing team celebrating like that, but congratulations to the Comets. That was 21-0. And here's Ryan Anderson, a great pass to Michael Reich.
Great pass, and he takes it in. You know, Holt showing great heart. They never gave up in this game. They kept fighting no matter how far they got down, and just a tremendous effort by Holt. Even though they were down early, down 21-0, these young men never quit.
That made it 21-7, and we felt like Holt might be getting right back in it, but they couldn't stop Grand Ledge. The Comets never punted until late in the fourth quarter, and here's Mike Ballou with the best run I've seen all year.
He just simply outruns the Holt defense. They had a great angle on him, looking like they were going to be able to catch him and stop him, and Mike Ballou just outruns the coverage. And this is what every coach wants, Ben. When the other team scores, you want your team to respond with the score. And Grand Ledge came back and scored after Holt had just scored. And I'll tell you, that always hurts the team that comes back, that can come back and allow and get a score after you've just given up a touchdown.
And 28-7, again, most teams will just wrap it up and take it home and forget about it. But Holt did come back and score again before halftime, and it's going to be Kenny Day on a quick burst up the middle.
That's right. No quit in this whole team. Kenny Day running off tackle, cuts it back up inside, and it's off to the races as he sees the end zone and goes in for the score.
And that made it 28-14, which was the halftime score. We're going to see the rest of the scores in a moment. We do invite everybody. Okay, we're going to go right down to it now. This is going to be an interesting interview. It's the Grand Ledge offensive line with Joe Lynn Thomas.
I'm here with the Grand Ledge offensive line and with Andy Brown, who is the captain. A great victory tonight. Wonderful effort by the line. What are your thoughts on tonight's game?
I thought the line played really good. Dusty Dye played a good game. Whole offense really played a good game, and defense sucked it up when they had to. I mean, everyone got on the field tonight, which is a goal for the whole team. You know, 50-plus guys out there, and we shut them out in the second half.
Now, it was a very important game for you guys tonight. What did your coach say coming into this game?
Just go out and have fun. Relax, have fun.
How will you prepare for the playoffs?
Same way we prepare for any other game. Intense. Good concentration during the week, and then films.
All right, well, congratulations to all of you on a great game, and all the best in the playoffs.
Thanks.
Thank you. We're going to send it back up to the press box now and the Media One sports commentators.
Thank you, Jolene, and a bunch of big boys there. The captain, Andy Brown, but the other linemen for Grand Ledge, Brian Cheen, Greg Miller, Andy Eisler, and Skip Mendoza, the very, very big linemen. Here is Grand Ledge again with Mike Ballou getting across for another touchdown that made it 35-14.
Following that big Grand Ledge offensive line, and Ben, it's always been my secret. I'm telling secrets, I might as well tell the other one. I always wish I could have been an offensive lineman, but as you know, since you are a little bit on the short side, a little bit difficult to play the line at 145 pounds, just a little bit. But you know, a lot of times little fellas, they like to play the line, you know, and the big fellas want to be small, play big. That is.
Yeah, but we talk good. How's that? That made it 35-14, and then Grand Ledge would not be denied, Holt would not be denied. That's Devin Lambert getting across. I'm sorry, that was Ryan Anderson, I believe, getting across to make it 35-20. Extra point was missed.
Yeah, he got in on a quarterback sneak that time, and still some time left in the game, but unfortunately, Grand Ledge, as we said often in this game tonight, they responded, came back and got another score. I mean, whenever Holt scored, as they say, Grand Ledge answered the bell, came back and got another score.
And 35-20 would have been enough to wrap up another victory, but you just couldn't stop Grand Ledge tonight. They kept coming back and getting more.
And here they come again, short yardage. They're on the 1-yard line, and Mike Ballou with another score, just powering in by that big offensive line.
That's the mission impossible situation that I've talked about because, and there's Jake Huntoon, by the way, a linebacker. Hard to get a lot of ink when you're a linebacker or a defensive player of any kind, but the linebackers in the defense for Grand Ledge are very important to their ball club. But at any rate, you just can't stop Grand Ledge when they get first and goal inside the 5.
And here we're going to see one more replay coming up, and this one on a pass and throwing it out in the flat, throwing it over outreach hands of the Holt defensive end, and you can see him. He just scoots right into the end zone. Good speed. And another score for Grand Ledge, and that's Gary Bergquist coming in.
Ryan Mooney to Gary Bergquist, perhaps something that we'll hear more of next year. And that's the kicker, Ryan McKinnon, as we take a look ahead to coverage we've got coming up on Media One Sports. Women's volleyball, one of the best teams in the Big Ten, Michigan State. We'll cover a couple of games coming up against Indiana and Michigan. That's coming up within this next week. So stay tuned to your Media One Sports channel for those games. And then MSU women's basketball right around the corner. MSU taking on 4 opponents live on Media One in the month of December. Detroit and Ohio University early in December. And then right around the holidays, Notre Dame and Ohio State. Stay tuned for that coverage coming up on your Media One Sports channel. Well, that'll do it from Holt High School. Once again, our final score, Grand Ledge 49 and Holt 20. For Earl Robinson, producer Tom Hayhoe, director Tammy Shablik, and our production crew, I'm Ben Stark. This has been a presentation of Media One Sports.